turn the mic over to Councilman Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Miranda.
Here.
Maniscalco. Hurtak. Here. Clendenin. Young. Here. Carlson. Here. Vera.
Here.
We have physical quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, board, let's go through the agenda if I may. Yes, ma'am.
I move to adopt the minutes of the November 2025 CRA meeting.
We have a motion by Board Member Hurtak, seconded by Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Madam. Okay, let's just go through each of these really quickly, if I may. For staff reports, number one, anything relevant to this? It would appear not. Moving forward. How about this, board members? Anybody
Muted.
wish to make any motions?
Unmuted.
1 through 5.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Or, no, not 1 through 5, sorry.
Okay, so nothing on 1 through 5.
Oh, actually,
yes,
I
ma'am.
believe that our director wants to move item 4 to be part of item 2.
Correct.
Go ahead, sir. You do. So
Good.
to merge 2 and 4?
Good morning, Cedric McCray, Tampa CRA Director. Yes, the acknowledgement of the CAC members that will be rolling off from the various CRAs, we would like to couple that with the director's report at the
Okay.
end.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that. Okay, so if I may, let's have a motion to merge those 2 items,
moved.
please. We have a motion by Board Member Miranda, second by Board Member Hurtak. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And you have a written report for number 5, is that good?
Yes, I mean, so I am going to inquire with staff on some issues. Yes, so thank you for that. Okay, and then for required approvals for 6 through 13, any motions regarding these in terms of moving them? Yes, sir. Board Member Carlson.
So I would like to, first of all, just pull that from the required approvals. I think the administration is trying to get us to quick approve the old contract. Before I presented an edited version of it, the staff was in a hurry to see what I had to present. Since I proposed that a month ago, not a single person has followed up with me about it. I think that there has to be, unless you all just want to adopt the existing contract as it is, there has to be some kind of to and fro between council and the staff. So either you all could, if you could just approve this as is, and I'll vote no, or you can ask them to negotiate with me and present back to you, or we can have a long discussion here among us, since we can't talk outside of the meeting, to talk about what we would like to change and then instruct the Cliff to come back.
Okay, thank you, sir. Board Member Hurtak and then Board Member Miranda.
Is there a reason you didn't reach out to them?
I talked to, I called Cliff and I called Cedric, but apparently no internal conversations had gone on. I knew that we need to have a conversation among us, and I can't know what you all think. And so if you all reject all of it or you reject part of it, I don't know what you think. And to some extent, on the CRA side, it doesn't matter what the staff thinks, it matters what we think. But nobody from the city approached me either.
I mean, do you have like a document that shows like the line by line differences? Do you have?
I rewrote the whole thing.
Well, I know you rewrote it, but do you have?
No, I handed it out last time, and I can go through it and explain to you all if you want, because we didn't do that last time. What I would ask is that we take this out of, at least take it out of required approvals.
So we have a motion by Board Member Carlson, seconded by Board Member Hurtak, to take this out for purposes of approval, so we separately discuss it. Board Member Miranda.
That's fine, but I want to make sure that anything we do, that the public's here, they can get involved in the conversation that we have regarding whatever we want to change or not change.
Yes, sir. Okay. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Any further discussion on the agenda?
Yes.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
We need to pull item 7 off of required approvals because there's a presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Motion by Board Member Hurtak, seconded by? Second. By Board Member Maniscalco. All in support of?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
And then
Anything else?
I think item 8 as well.
Yes, okay. Motion to pull item number 8 by Board Member Hurtak, seconded by Board Member Young. All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay,
And then last, item number 13 has a PowerPoint.
okay, great. So motion to pull item 13 by Hurtak, seconded by Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And,
Okay.
and just so you all know, I have a motion for later to take these special projects out of required approvals and make them staff reports, so.
Yeah, I was about to-
Ideally, this will be fixed.
Yeah,
I forgot to do it last month, that's on me.
No, I was about to ask, how come during agenda setting, what they weren't just moved out?
Okay.
It's gonna be that by moving all the special projects, it will be automatically.
Yeah, and that was on my motion list, for last month, but then I ended up chairing and completely forgot about it, so
Okay, thank
that
you.
was on me.
Okay, board members, I guess, do we do a motion to approve the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda by Board Member Hurtak, seconded by Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and for purposes of today, we are going to be doing the rule on 5 minutes and then 3 minutes for second bite at the apple. And I know that puts extra work on you, and I apologize for that. And I'll be cognizant of that as well. And then I'll inquire with each presentation in terms of how long, and so we can stick to that.
Can I ask one?
Yes, sir, please.
Procedural question. Board Member Hurtak asked me if I had a line by line on that contract. I didn't do a line by line because they're so different. And I also did not print copies this time because last time you all asked me not to use paper. But if you all, would you all like copies? I can have copies of both printed, but before we get to that item, or do you all have them?
I have both already, so.
One copy.
Okay, so I'll make a couple copies.
Thank you, sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's move forward with public comment, if we may. And Attorney Shepherd, if you wish to go through the public comments. And if you are here for public comment, please stand if you're able to do so and line up against the wall, and we'll go from there. Please
The
raise your hand if
broadcast
you're
is now
here for
starting.
public
All
comment.
attendees are in listen-only
Okay,
mode.
good. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, sir. Oh, wait. Is Mr. Shepherd, are you there, sir? You know, there may be technological issues. Okay, I mean, bottom line, yeah, I guess you're right. How about this?
Okay, I'm not muted now.
Okay, hey, sir, go ahead, sir, just 1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
They need to let me unmute myself, but they always mute for me, so I can't do it. And I'll begin. Members of the public are allowed a reasonable opportunity at the beginning of the CRA meeting to address any item on the agenda before the CRA takes official action on an item. However, a 3-minute time limit applies to all speakers providing public comment unless such time frame is modified by a vote of the CRA board. Speakers and members of the public are also reminded that they are to refrain from disruptive behavior, including making vulgar or threatening remarks or causing disruptive noises or sounds or displaying signs or graphics. Speakers are also reminded to refrain from launching personal attacks. The chair will rule out of order any person who speaks without being recognized or attempt to address the CRA from outside the speaker area at the podium. Persons failing to comply with the CRA's rules may also be ruled out of order and, at the discretion of the chair, may be removed from the chambers or the remainder of the day's CRA meeting. Finally, CRA board members are reminded that they should refrain from engaging a speaker under public comment. The City Council rules as revised June 6, 2024 are now in effect for the CRA board unless otherwise exempted or overridden by the CRA board bylaws.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Yes, sir. Mr. Green, go ahead, sir.
Good morning, I'm John Green. I'm here to speak on the culture that developed over the years in the Tampa
And if I
African.
may, we can't see your, there you go. Okay. Go ahead.
Good morning, I'm John Green. I'm here to speak on the culture that developed over the years in the Tampa African American community that the government agencies have created and perpetuated over the past 10 years, which is funding certain people's lifestyle indirectly and not the organization for the work in the community. For example, the NAACP branch, who this city and council contract with, agreed to fund for specific training, workshops, and collaborations to help the people become productive in the community in which they live, but usually never gets implemented because of the lack of communication, organizational skills, and improper documentation, in my opinion. However, there are representatives from the NAACP who comes to this meeting, to the city council meeting with grievances, but never come to give an account on the work that the NAACP is contracted to do based on the agreement between the city and the NAACP. I am requesting that the council ask the NAACP to come give a full presentation on the work, audit of the NAACP, financials, collaborations of whom they hire, and all payouts, because it's the taxpayers' monies and they deserve to know how their monies are going to be spent. This is about to start, this is about starting and moving the NAACP and the African American culture in a positive direction to be accountable and productive to the citizens of Tampa, Florida, and Hillsborough County. You, the council, have the legal authority to request the public presentation based on the signed agreement dated on the contract from the president of the NAACP. And we, the people, thank you in advance for your consideration. The reason I'm speaking is because publicly I'm pathetic, I'm stupid, I can't read, but I can articulate my feelings and my thoughts. So please have the NAACP come up, do a full presentation. They are to keep the information on file for 6 years, and y'all have the authority to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Melvin Muhammad. I come before you humbly to show respect to both the council, the city staff, and all the citizens that are here publicly today in person. I hail from a humble place in North Carolina, but then I moved to the big city of Chicago. Now I am transported here in Florida. I sat on this side of the table for many years, representing people who voted for me to serve them. It's disheartened me and displeased me that I come to a place that's supposed to be so progressive, but you have majority of your meetings at 9 a.m. in the morning. When you first came into office, you probably was a person just like me that had to really structure your schedule to get to a 9 o'clock meeting. Majority of your constituents that you serve, they cannot even come to give genuine input or even to support you. You have 2 meetings a month, and both of them are 9 o'clock in the morning. The mayor, who is not present, I do understand because I've heard that they don't be here at this meeting, which is still mind-boggling to me also. But a 9 o'clock in the morning meeting is can be very challenging for most of your constituents. Most of your constituents don't make close to 6 figures or either 6 figures to be able to take the time off from their work, or either they got to get their children off to school in the morning to make a 9 o'clock meeting. I will hope that y'all reconsider, even though it's been done for years, I heard, to reconsider at least one of your meetings for in the evening times, late evening times. Because we understand that our taxpayer money is paying your service salary. So I think it's an injustice that you cannot be a meeting in the evening times for more of those citizens to come to articulate or to share with you their concern of what you should be doing for them. I say this, and I hope that it will get back to the mayor, because I am going to continue to try to come to as many meetings as I can to share this concern, because you cannot serve the majority of your citizens if they cannot hear from you. It ain't about a phone call, a text, or email. They need to be able to see you in action saying that you represent them. So please think about that and hopefully reconsider at least one of your meetings later in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Next, please.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Sandra De Diego Sanchez. A couple of days ago, the mayor announced she wanted to sell Big Blue and build a new police station. My first concern is that it's on CRA property, the downtown CRA. Would you need to have permission to be able to sell that building? That's my first concern. At a cost of $400 million.
And
She
I
wants to build-
apologize, Ms. Sanchez. If I may, can we, and pause, thank you. If you don't mind, to put this picture up on the screen for folks to be able to see it, whoever is it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Go ahead, ma'am. Apologize.
Okay. Anyway, a couple of days ago, the mayor announced she wanted to sell Big Blue and build a new police station at a cost of $400 million. She thinks selling Big Blue at $36 million will give the city an extra income. That is a far cry from the projected $400 million that is needed. Even former Mayor Bob Buckhorn quoted as saying, "The city doesn't have the money." Out of the blue, and excuse the pun, the mayor thinks our police department building is outdated. It may be, but it is digitally sound, and that is what is important: reliable communication, not a new building. This is what, as a want, not a need, many other police departments would love to have Big Blue. If we are going to find $400 million, how about investing in mass transportation that is so badly needed for added safety in our great city? This picture of what is happening in our streets speaks volumes. The delivery truck is in the bike lane, the bicyclist is on the street. The city of Tampa streets do not have room for bicycle lane, transit lane, traffic lanes altogether, not even the transit-ready corridors. The city of St. Petersburg just got their transit lanes taken away by the state, and they had to return them back to traffic lanes. The issue of mass transportation is here and now. It appears that all those transit-ready corridors mentioned in the new comprehensive plan that they're still working on should pay attention to what is going around the state. I'm not sure our transit-ready corridors will pass the musket. So I strongly suggest that we are to be thinking of finding $400 million. We use it for the safety of all citizens in Tampa, a reliable transit system. And yes, Mayor, the entire city is evolving, not just downtown. I encourage all citizens of Tampa to let the mayor and city council know what you really think about this project. City council, please stop the mayor from sending us down into a financial tailspin. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you very much. Next, please.
Good morning. I'm John Shuffle. I'm here representing Gasparilla Arts, which is a parent organization for the Gasparilla Festival of the Arts. And in addition to our annual festival the first weekend of March, we also have several year-round initiatives that benefit the community, including our collegiate scholarship program, our high school initiative, as well as permanent art. I'm here today to tell you proudly about a new mural that we just installed in East Tampa on the side of the CDC, the Center for Developing Communities of Tampa. This was made possible by a generous grant, or partially possible by a generous grant from the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, as well as other sponsors. And we worked with the artist Michelle Sawyer. The theme is Be All You Can Be, and it honors 6 prominent women that are part of East Tampa's history. This was also a collaboration with the Pace Center for Girls, and it involved a classroom setting where the girls learned about painting. They actually, 10 of them were involved in painting part of the mural, and it was a really wonderful experience for all of them. For all of them, it was the first time picking up a paintbrush. So I'm here today to let you know about this mural, and we also will be having a ribbon cutting and a block party on Thursday, January 22nd from 2 to 4 p.m. You'll all receive an invite, and I hope that you're able to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That is a lovely mural. Thank you for showing us that. Thank you. Next, please.
Good morning. My name is Jason Rickmans, representing, I live in District 5. I'm here to talk about missing middle and just affordable housing. Not too long ago, well, in a past meeting, Evan Johnson came and spoke about the missing middle and how there's a need for it. But whenever I go to zoning, I get a lot of no's in regards to building stuff that we actually need. You go to Ybor, you go to Tampa Heights, and the things that I want to build in East Tampa, they exist there, even though they're grandfathered in. But still, if I want to build it in East Tampa, zoning tells me no. And the employees that work for zoning can't even afford to live in the city. Disappointing. So I'm just here to ask for your help in regards to that. I shouldn't have to hire a land use lawyer to get the things that I want to get done. You know what I mean? And it should not just be in the corridors. It should be anywhere. As long as it fits in the neighborhood, as long as there's enough land to put a property there, then we should be able to do it. So I'm just asking for your help to this regards. That's it.
Councilman
Can you be
Miranda.
more specific?
So, for instance, there was a meeting where...
And if I may, let's put the clock just for 1 minute for the interaction out of deference. Go ahead.
All right. In the presentation for the missing middle, they used a photo of a duplex on 4th Avenue. That's not a corridor. If you go east, it leads nowhere. If you go west, it leads to a dead-end street. But they used a picture of a duplex. But in talking about this problem, they only want it in the corridors. If there is a quad on a 5,000 square foot lot in Tampa Heights, we should be able to do that in East Tampa. If there's a duplex, or if there's a tiny house on a 1,000 square foot lot in Ybor, we should be able to do that in East Tampa. It's not fair across the board. And when I go to Hannah and I speak to the employees and they say, no, you can't do this, and I say, hey, do you live in the city? They say, I can't afford to live in the city. It's wild.
Okay, thank
That's
you,
it.
sir. Thank you, Board Member Miranda. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas,
Okay.
Happy Holidays. Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Ashley Morrow, and I will be sharing Tampa's Black History. All right. By May of 1864, Fort Brooke was no longer the major military post it once had been during the deportation days. The war had drained this region, and the town around the fort existed in a kind of uncertain silence, but that changed on the night of May 5th when Union soldiers began advancing toward Tampa. All right, here's just a map. It's showing arrows is how they advanced towards Tampa. Here it says there was a Spanish town over there in West Tampa. Here's Tampa. A group came this way and a group came that way, all right? They approached from multiple directions. Along the dark road, they encountered a black man, one of the few individuals still in the area that night. When they questioned him, he told them the fort was not occupied. James McKay and his men had left the day before. This is Captain Green. That's the one that questioned the black man. There goes some Black history right there. When the Union soldiers reached Fort Brooke, they found it virtually deserted. The Confederate soldiers were not defending the fort at all, and according to the documents, they were sitting around a table. Some of the leading citizens, were sitting around a table at the Florida Hotel, and they captured them there. But it didn't end there. What the soldiers ended up doing, they were directed to go towards Brooksville. So here are some war documents explaining the expedition left for the purpose of making a raid on Brooksville because there were plantations out there. So they wanted to stop the slavery that was taking place out on the plantations out in Brooksville. Right? Now, I want to close with something I discovered during my research. In one of Cantor Brown's books, he said that there were 36 black men had participated. He said that 36 black men had participated in these events surrounding the occupation of Fort Brooke. So when I located the muster rolls, I was very shocked to see there were actually 148 Black Union soldiers present during the emancipation of Fort Brooke. Shout out to the veterans in the room. If you would like to see that list, here's a QR code right there. 148 Black men who stood on Tampa soil at the end of the Civil War, 148 Black men who enforced the freedom in this city, and 148 Black men whose presence reshapes everything we thought we knew about this moment in Tampa's Black history. These are the stories that remind us why digging, researching, and documenting matters, because the truth is deeper than the records we have inherited. And in Tampa's case, the truth is still rising to the surface. Thank you.
Amen. Long live Robert Smalls. Well done. Go ahead.
The attorney's not there, so if I may. Good morning, Allison Hewitt, resident and business owner of East Tampa. And I wrote some public comments because I'm pretty, this causes me to be very emotional. And I am asking you not to pass the service agreement as has before you. The East Tampa CRA has 8 years left. And what is the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. East Tampa is behind. And East Tampa only has 8 years to move forward. In your current structure that they have to be approved today, you have absolutely no authority over your staff. I have talked to one council member who have said that they asked for 2 years for the plan for how they're going to dispose of CRA-owned property. Where could you work where you not respond to your boss for 2 years? But you have no recourse as the CRA. With this operating agreement, you turn over all authority to the city staff to be able to respond when they respond of their priorities, not yours, because you have asked. I can provide you to the minutes that you have asked. I am asking you that and thank you, Councilman Carlson, for your suggestion. And it was a really good start to be able to allow the CRA to be the agency. And so to understand, and legal counsel can agree, 2019 update to the CRA statute was because they wanted the CRA to be independent of the municipality. And that is independent to be able to make sure that you're focusing on slum and blight. But understand, it's not just slum and blight. It is restoring opportunity, delivering a meaningful and measurable redevelopment for the people. And so you don't stay with this, we just want to remove slum and blight. And the council can be able to say to you that they updated 2019, the CRA, because they saw that the city and the county and various areas control the CRA and they do what priorities they want. I am asking you to do as Councilman Carlson suggests, have a discussion amongst yourself, because when the rubber hits the road and East Tampa only has 8 years and nothing has happened except for the few priorities that the administration has set, and again, not just this administration, the last administration and administration to come, they will be able to do what they would like to do and present to you when they want to present, because this agreement gives you no teeth to make staff actually work for the CRA. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. Next, please.
Stephanie Pointer. Good morning. First of all, I want to make sure everybody's clear on this. I support the NAACP and the funding from the city. HJR 201 gets rid of the non-school related property taxes. That's the bill that's on the floor to get rid of our property taxes throughout the state. And those rocket scientists up there fail to understand that that only pays for 85% of our public safety budget. Now, 85% of that public safety budget may disappear next year because we have no idea what's going to happen. But with that being said, somebody came up with the rocket scientist idea to sell Big Blue at the bottom of the market. This is, prices aren't at the bottom, but they're coming down, okay? And people aren't investing. We've got properties that people have rezoned that are still sitting vacant. There's a reason for that. I gave you guys a copy of, and Allison was nice enough to put this together for me because I'm not a CRA guru, but the bottom line is that the CRA should be approving this going out for an RFP, not be silenced by the RFP. The RFP says the property at 411 Franklin Street, and I'm paraphrasing, city staff will not be available to discuss or address media or public questions regarding the property. I'm sorry, but our tax dollars paid for that property. How is it that the city refuses to communicate with the citizens via media or any other channel? Spruce Street has supposedly been going to be sold since I've been here, since 2019. Oh, we're going to sell Spruce Street. We're going to sell Spruce Street. I don't see an RFP for it. What's going on? This is shady. You guys all know it's shady, and it's your responsibility to protect our city from this shameless crap of them selling a building without having a place to go. It's just another, and they're going to say, oh, well, it's too late for you to do it. You need to have this discussion today. You are a CRA board. You are an independent board today. You need to have a discussion about why the administration is trying to sell out a piece of property that's in a CRA. They can't do it. When will you guys call it what it is? If it's illegal, by God, call it illegal. If it's not ethical, call it that. You are here to protect us. And this is, there's been a lot of times that I sit back and I'm like, oh, I can kind of live with that. But you and I all know that this is crap, that you guys didn't know about it until a week ago. Nobody told you what was going on. The only indicator that anybody on that dais had about it was Burke Hall inherently mentioned $400 million on a new police station.
Thank you, ma'am.
Stand up for your citizens.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. Anybody else here in person for public comment? Okay. Do we have anyone virtually who's able to appear? I know we had challenges. Okay, Mr. Randolph, go for it, sir, if you'd like.
Thank you. My name is Michael Randolph. Today's presentation highlights our upcoming community wealth building workshops, part of the Technology Wealth Building and Job Creation Initiative. These workshops directly address gentrification by advancing anti-displacement strategies that uplift residents, ensuring growth, strength communities while preserving their roots. Upcoming workshops, spring and winter. Understanding investors and lenders. We begin with the framework, understanding how investors and lenders think. This session will help you gain practical insight into attracting investments and securing loans to support your entrepreneurship journey. Creating a marketable business plan. A strong business plan is a strong passport to credibility. In this workshop, you'll discover how to design robust, bankable plans that inspire confidence among financial institutions, sales and marketing foundations. Of course, no business thrives without customers. This session builds essential skills in sales strategies and marketing outreach to elevate your business presence. Artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Web3, and wealth creation. Technology is reshaping the future of wealth. Here, we explore the transformative power of artificial intelligence, Web3, for economic mobility. Most importantly, we emphasize inclusive strategies to ensure equity for marginalized communities and to help bridge the racial wealth gap. Home-based businesses and e-commerce. Finally, we bring it home, literally. This workshop uncover strategies to launch and grow successful home-based business enterprise and online ventures. Each session is not just about businesses, it's about ensuring the growth uplifts rather than uproots, and that prosperity is shared across our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Okay, that ends, it appears, public comment. So if I may, we'll go to staff reports for number one, for Maritza to come forward. Mi hermana, good to see you today. Good to see you.
Good morning, board members. My name is Felix Nunez. I am the CRA Development Manager for the East Tampa and Drew Park neighborhoods. Today I want to present to you Mrs. Astorquiza. She is the board chair, the CAC Advisory Committee chair, and she'll be giving a report on Drew Parks.
Thank you, sir. And just so that we know roughly how long you think you need, roughly. 5 minutes, how long you think you need? 5 minutes, 10
I'm
minutes?
gonna try to keep it, I have a lot, but I'm also gonna give you some things to read on your own.
Okay, great,
Okay.
thank you. So let's do, if I may, 10 minutes, just for everything. Go for it, thank
And
you.
I'll be as quick as possible.
Oh, yeah, you're good, take your time.
First of all, I'm Maritza Astorquiza. I do see a new face, and welcome. And I'm here to present on Drew Park. First of all, I would like to say thank you. We have a manager, a CRA manager for us. Thank you so much. And we have already had our first meeting with him, and we know we're going to do a lot of great work together. So thank you so much. And Cedric, I'll still have your cell number, so I'll get to you. I also wanted to recognize, and she will be recognized in a little bit as well, but Dr. Paige Newhouse from HCC is here, and we wanted to thank her for her time. She is coming off, but coming on is Chris Painter, who is a dean at HCC. So we will be complete, and we will have him at our first meeting in January. I do want to highlight a special meeting that we had, and not because she's just in front of us, but it was a wonderful experience. We were able to host Lynn Hertek and Miss Kelly, as well as Cedric and myself. We went on a tour of Drew Park, which we have extended offer before, and many of you guys have said that you do want to come, so the offer still stands, and it was an amazing opportunity, because it was a great perspective, I think, both ways. I don't want to speak for you, but I do want to say on our end, and we did stop to speak to a couple of business people, and we walked and we drove, and we got to see, a lot of things firsthand in Drew Park, it's a very unique place. It's residential and light industrial, and we're living amongst and working amongst big trucks and dump trucks and small cars and children walking and people walking, and just it's a whole little community, and it's wonderful, but it does have its complexities. So thank you very much for coming. I do want to talk about, up to date. I always come and tell you a little bit about what we're doing. I am going to look at my notes here for a minute. All right, we have several projects, as you know, going on in Drew Park, and we've been working really hard, and we have a lot of consultants that we've been putting, doing work for us, and now we've got things into place. Our mobility and connectivity improvement program is continuing, and that is a huge project. And I'm hoping that next time we're up, or sometime soon, I can come and give a little bit more details on that, because I'm not going to speak about that one today. We have our streetscape safety audit, which is basically with the Lois and Grady Avenue, and that is going to start really soon, actually. The plans are due now, and we should begin in the spring to move that forward in Lois and Grady. I love the Ybor Park project, and that is well on its way. We had a little bit to catch up on drainage and so forth, and that's been taken care of. So hopefully we will expect final plans at the end of this month, and then we move forward. Also would like to do a little bit updated a presentation on that. There's just a lot going on in Drew Park right now. And I do want to tell you the gateway signage that we started years ago, and we have, those pretty propellers, and we went through a big project to get that in with artists and so forth, and a couple have been damaged, but they're being repaired. In addition to that, we also approved 5 more locations, because we do have some absence along Del Mabry that we just never got to it for one reason or another. I don't recall why we didn't do that, and down Hillsborough as well. So we are moving that so we have more presence of where we are at, because we are Drew Park and we're proud about it. All right, so what I do want to say is going into a safety and speed management study that we were able to do. And the report is huge, okay? That's not what I'm giving you today, though. Do we have copies? Or did you guys get copies? Yes, there you go. Perfect, you have the copies. Yes, hopefully you can read them. I'm not going to go through the package, but I'm going to highlight a few things. And it was an excellent study that was done. There was a walk-in tour, with Mobility, Bryce, who's here today, walked with me, and the consultants did as well, and we even had an intern, and we walked for like 2.5 hours, it seemed like longer, in the hot sun, and it was great because we got a lot of perspective that way. So we got our response back, and what we got is some really interesting things, and this is what you have in front of you. Okay, so we looked at several tiers and several corridors. We looked at Hesperides Street from Martin Luther King to Crest. Hesperides is the first impact from Air Cargo Road. Okay, that's where it becomes really important. Crest is extremely important because it's like almost come on down and just fly down that street if you'd like, because there's nothing to stop you until you get to Lois Avenue. Okay, and then we have Lois and Cayuga, Lois and Alva, Hubert and Osborne, and Hubert and Alva as well. So we looked at these areas, well, they looked at these areas, and they came back with some suggestions. And in fact, it was like Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. We approved Tier 1, 2, and 3 for Lois and Cayuga, Lois and Alva, Hubert and Osborne, and Hubert and Alva. Hesperides and Crest took a little bit more work to get things to where their recommendations would be, and obviously a bigger price tag. So we did approve Tier 1 for that, but we are going to revisit Tier 2 and Tier 3, and with the help of staff, perhaps a la carte choose what we can afford with the rest of the projects that we have going on. But some of the things would be, sidewalks and curbs and better stop signs, because those stop signs are being taken, well, not really taken, but knocked down or not adhered to. But there were some interesting things on, this is labeled page 4, I'm not sure where in your package is, but it has to do with crash data. And if you kind of look at, for the small amount of space that we have, that's a lot of accidents. And honestly, I can tell you, you can probably double it. And I feel comfortable saying that because a lot of the crashes or impacts are not reported. Okay, people don't want, they have insurance, their truck insurance, their car insurance, they don't want it to go up, they just take care of it and move forward. So for such a small space, I think it's a high volume. It doesn't show any fatality. I do remember fatalities. It could have been, it was just right outside the scope of what they presented here. I do remember definitely one, possibly, no, I remember 2. One was on Air Cargo Road, okay, and one was on Lois and Alva, which is a very particularly dangerous place. None of the recommendations did we go for a 4-way stop sign or anything else there, which I still think we need to take a look at. Something about, how you need to prove for a 4-way stop sign, but Luke, who was the lead on this for the consultant, when he presented to us, he said something to us that I really felt that he really got what Drew Park was about. Because even though the data, for example, on the speeding doesn't show there's much speeding, there's speeding, okay? Now, could it be that during that time frame, or maybe the games weren't going on, or maybe it was off-peak, or it wasn't in the right spots or what have you, they're speeding. And so he kind of reflected, I remember him saying something to the effect of, even though this is what's going on, when you're walking it, you're feeling the danger, okay? Because you're up against huge semis, and you're walking, or your car, or what have you. So it is something to take a look at, that we are in a very high volume place with big trucks, you know, and Air Cargo Road, like I always say, 45 leading into a 25 is not a good thing. So, which leads me to a couple other things that I wanted to say. Riley Parks is a gentleman who started new in engineering and mobility some time ago and took on the task to find out, and I think I presented this last time I was here, who was in control or who is in control of air cargo. And I know the city always telling us it was airport, and airport's like, not me. Well, he was able to find the proof that it is the city. Okay, so that is out of our scope, okay? But I have presented here, someone needs to look at bringing down the speed limit from 45 to, I don't know, 40? Could that help, you know? Because you're, or 35, whatever, because we are going into our 25 zone.
And if I may, you have 30 seconds, so do you need another minute, or?
I can do this in 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, I want your help in looking into air cargo because it's out of our scope, but it's feeding into us. The infrastructure, I wanted to tell you something, an experience that I had. I was in Lois, Martin Luther King, a week ago. So we have concerts and we have ball games and we have rays and we have football, and that's almost, you know, more than just one Sunday, okay? That's constantly. We love it. Okay, I mean, it's fine, it's great, you know, it's wonderful being close to this. I was trapped, you know, Lois and Martin Luther King, the amount of traffic, you know, 3-minute red light, 4-minute red light.
Oh,
All right.
30 seconds, go ahead.
30 seconds, thank you. You can count so many cars. What made me think is, I was literally trapped, couldn't go out here, going out here, okay, fine, you know, it's part of the deal. But what made me think is, as we keep growing, is there money being put out from outside into Drew Park as well? Because for 40 years before the Drew Park CRA, there was no capital improvements in Drew Park, that's a fact, okay? And then come our TIF monies. But we are getting a lot of traffic from other places, which means we're getting also the roads and so forth, and I'll leave right now, but I do
You're
think.
good. Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Okay, I think it's a good point for future to remember that we are being inundated with a lot of traffic that is not Drew Park, which is doing wear and tear into our community. And, you know, it shouldn't all be on our
Thank you, ma'am.
bill.
We appreciate you. Any comments or any council members, anybody? Okay, Board Member Hurtak, go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, I really did enjoy my tour, and I highly recommend all of you all go and take a look, especially about the safety and speed management study. I'm really glad to finally have this in front of us. So yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to the park, and your next update will be exciting to hear about all of these new changes that are coming. And I just wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Okay. And yes, ma'am, thank you as always for your hard work and everyone on the board. And, you know, I'm old enough to remember when Drew Park was in terrible places in the mid to late 1990s, early 2000s. I remember council appropriated a lot of money there for law enforcement with some of the, whatever you want to call it, out there. And we've seen, you know, great leaps and bounds forwards for Drew Park. So thank you for your work. We appreciate you. Thank you, ma'am. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thank you very much. Okay, we appreciate you. Next, we have items 2 and 4. Mr. McRae, go ahead, sir. And for purposes of your monthly report, sir, just approximately how long you think you're going to need?
It'll be brief.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
Couple few minutes.
Okay, let's just do a timer for 10.
Yes, good morning again, Cedric McRae, Tampa CRA Director. As customary, we have our grants trackers and project tracker for your review. And if there are no questions there, I just wanted to acknowledge one of our new team members, Ms. Taylor Faulkner. She has been hired as our Office Support Specialist 4. Ms. Faulkner still here? Nope. She was here earlier, but just wanted to acknowledge her coming on board and joining the team. There is one item that I would like to bring your attention to. And normally we don't bring walk-ons on, but at your space at the dais, and I did mention this during our briefings earlier this week, that the Firefighters Museum, the ordinance, we normally have those developed and Attorney Shepard will write them, and then we have the suggested amount in there. When you all move forward with allocating the higher amount, we had to make an adjustment to the document that was created. And so we've had some conversations with the clerk's office to correct that, and Attorney Shepard did update the document, so that is at your seat. And I believe the full amount was $151,827.46. So that adjustment has been made, and just wanted to bring that to your attention for approval.
Yes, I move the resolution.
Yes, ma'am. Move the resolution. We have a motion to move the resolution by Board Member Hurtak, seconded by Board Member Maniscalco. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, next item.
Oh, I'm sorry. And yeah, now go ahead.
Motion carried unanimously with Young being absent at vote and Clendenin being absent.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
The next item is the quarterly newsletter that is also at your dais. This is hot off the press. Just received it yesterday, and for your review, and we will be disseminating with our CACs and on our social media platforms. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay.
All right, and next, we would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge, and this is something we did last December, to acknowledge some of our Community Advisory Committee meetings, members across all the CRAs. I believe we have several here to receive certificates, and we will invite them up to you all to kind of fawn over them, for lack of a better term or phrase, for their level of volunteerism for either 2 to 4 years on the various CRAs. So at this time, I'd like to call up from Drew Park, Dr. Paige Niehaus. From East Tampa, I would like to call up Miss Eileen Henderson. From West Tampa, I would like to call up Miss Sandra Sanchez. And from Ybor City, Arnold Trubia. And then I believe we have Manny Calzone also here as well. And did I miss anyone?
Chris Voidovich is here.
Chris Voidovich, yes.
Which is the hardest one to.
Yes, Chris Voidovich.
Thank you. So, is that it? Yeah, so if I may, Mr. McCray, if you guys want to each individually say something about your time, no more than 30, 45 seconds, each one, if y'all wish, because we appreciate y'all, and go ahead. Ma'am.
Well, good morning. My name is Paige Niehaus. I'm the Dale Mabry campus president at Hillsborough College, and so it's been an integral part to be on the Drew Park CRA CAC and to be connecting with the businesses and the city on making the whole area be a better place for both the residents and the employers that are there. So thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
My name is Sandra Sanchez, and as all of you know, I'm committed to West Tampa. And I enjoyed my time on the CAC. I would like to return someday. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Council. Eileen Henderson, I served on the East Tampa CAC. It was my pleasure to do that and my honor. But as you all know, cemeteries are my passion, and so that's where I've decided to direct my energy. But thank you for that opportunity, and I do hope to be able to join them again before they sunset. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, go ahead.
Good morning. Arnold Truba, representing Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Just wanted to tell you guys thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to be on this board. It's a little bittersweet, as I was telling Brenda earlier this morning, since we're getting ready to leave Ybor City here in a couple of years. So, but I appreciate everything you guys have done and look forward to seeing what Ybor City has in a couple of years. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. Chris Voidovich, Ybor CRA 1 and 2, full-time resident in historic Ybor City. I just wanted to say it's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you and with staff and city staff and the various folks we've worked with through the years. I had the great pleasure of spending 8 years on the CRA board for 1 and 2, serving the residents and workers and business owners that make Ybor City so wonderful. So thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. And sir, anybody? Oh, okay.
Manny Calzone, board member of the Ybor City CAC. It was a pleasure serving, and I appreciate the opportunity. As the grandson of Spanish immigrants who landed in Ybor City, it was a special blessing to be able to serve. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. And so let's take comments from council members, and afterwards, if y'all want to maybe get a picture up here with us or what have you, we'd love to have that. So board members, any comments? Board member Hurtak.
Yes, I want to say thank you so much. I mean, the time and effort and energy you put toward this is immense. I remember from my neighborhood days. So absolutely really appreciate the work you're doing and did. And the great thing is, several of you have mentioned, I mean, you want to come back, you want to serve again. And I really hope that in the interim, if you're interested, we always have boards and commissions that do need people. So don't hesitate to reach out to our offices to help you figure out, or to talk to CRA staff to help you figure out other ways you can be impactful, because all of you, well, I can tell, still want to remain and work on the different projects you're working on. So we'd still love to have you be a part of the city. Thank you so much for your dedication and service.
Thank you, Board Member Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a kind words to say, you don't remember what you've done. Go back 8 or 10 years, look where you started at and what it is today. You will say, wow, I was involved in this. But since you're there every week and every month doing what you need to do to make the city look better, you don't realize what you've done. So from all of us to all of you, muchísimas gracias. Thank you very much.
Board Member Menescalco.
Thank you for all your work, and many of you here, like Ms. Henderson mentioned, go above and beyond in other parts of the community. Sandy Sanchez, president of Hillsborough College, I keep going. So your impact is felt beyond just that board, and it's not just that board, because we've built relationships with many of you. We see that you serve in many different capacities, and this is just one of the many wonderful things that you contribute to this community, because you do make it a better place. The time is not wasted, it's wisely invested, the time that you've given, and you have brought positive change that we feel today and will continue to feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Oh, anybody?
Yeah, just echo everything my colleague said. Thank you for all your time. It's a lot of work and effort. We appreciate your advice.
Board Member Quaid.
I just wanted to say thank you for your time and effort.
Thank you. And yeah, we thank y'all for your hard work. I mean, y'all don't get paid anything for it, and you're all community members who are involved in stakeholders. So thank you guys very much. So if y'all would like to come up here for a picture or something, I guess, is here the best place to do it, you think? Okay, let's.
My block.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for that. And Mr. McRae, was that all from you, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Thrower. I'm the Ybor City CRA Development Manager, and I have the pleasure of introducing our consultant firm, HCP. They're going to be giving a presentation on the biennial resident and worker survey that y'all requested, and we have with us today Robert Allen with HCP, as well as in the audience Eric Pollins. So I'll hand it over to Robert.
Thank you. And before, it says a 5-minute presentation. You need a little more than that, or?
So the Ybor CAC requested that I focus on safety and parking comments. So I'm going to move quickly through it. I think 5 minutes should be justified.
I'll give you 7. That's fine. And
That's
by the way,
perfect.
when we're done, I want to give your mustache a city council commendation. That is an awesome. Listen. You wear it well.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, here I am.
And if you need more time, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
Just to-
Okay, so again, my name is Robert Allen. I'm the Vice President at HCP Associates. We have had the pleasure of working with the Ybor City Development Corporation and now the Tampa CRA. Over the last 10 years, we have conducted this biennial, every 2-year study of residents and workers in the historic Ybor neighborhood. Just to be clear, that does include both CRA 1 and CRA 2. Again, that was in 2016 that we began that survey. This year, we interviewed or surveyed 253 residents and 206 workers. Again, residents, people living in the district, workers, those who commute or otherwise have some type of business relationship with the Ybor City area. Our survey results largely grouped into 4 themes: retail priorities, mobility and parking, safety and cleanliness, and CRA program awareness. I will move quickly through most of these, but again, the CAC did request that I speak predominantly on parking and safety concerns. So I'll get into kind of, this is the complicated part. So we do a 2-part question where we ask people to give scores on how important a particular community characteristic is, and then how they feel that is delivered or represented in their local area. So we create a metric from these 2 scores called the expectation gap. Broadly speaking, it's like golf. The higher the score, the worse you're doing. So a lower score is better, a higher score is a little worse. Broadly speaking, we have defined a expectation gap of 2 or greater as of concern, so something that we need to look at and maybe identify some challenges that either the residents or the workers are reporting. So very broadly in 2025, our residents expressed 5 major areas of concern: affordable housing being number 1, shopping retail diversity number 2, public area cleanliness, quality housing options, and strong sense of personal safety to round out the top 5. Things that they feel are doing very well are things like art-filled streetscapes, good parking accessibility, and festivals and events. That's at the bottom of that list there. Our workers have a little bit of a different perspective. Their number 1 concern, and substantially higher, that's a 4-point expectation gap, which is large. We have seen in all of these surveys that we do in not only Ybor, but in other areas in the Tampa Bay area, that the average expectation gap has gone up. So some of this increase is just because of people having a little bit more of an opinionated nature, but we still see affordable parking, strong sense of personal safety, good parking accessibility, public area cleanliness, and incoming, outgoing traffic flow as the top 5 issues for workers in the Ybor City area. As you can see, there's a trend there. What we will note as I go through the rest of these slides is that workers are the ones who have a lot more of these concerns regarding transportation, parking, and safety. What I wanted to show on this chart, first, this is for residents, is how these expectations have shifted over the 10 years that we have done this study. So personal safety for residents actually began as the number 1 expectation gap, or the largest concern for the residents, about 10 years ago. That is now in 5th place in 2025, which is to say that residents are expressing a much lower level of concern about their safety relative to other issues than they were 10 years ago. So you could view that as a win. Now, affordable housing has gone from a non-issue to the number 1 issue, which is perhaps unsurprising given costs and everything over the last maybe about 5 to 6 years. Where I want to call some more attention is on our worker slide on this next one. So personal safety has always been very important for the workers. It remains around the same score that we've seen in the past, but it is now 2nd place. Affordable parking, which was a 5th place or 3rd place issue in the past, is now number 1. And again, that an expectation gap of over 4 does represent a sizable concern or a sizable dissatisfaction among the people that we surveyed. Again, we've seen that kind of shift: affordable parking for our workers and affordable housing for our residents. Briefly, we will go over retail availability. Broadly speaking, residents and workers expressed some dissatisfaction with retail shopping experience in Ybor City. We've seen a lot of feedback on this, a lot related to being able to find parking close to the businesses, a lot of things about operating hours, being able to grab lunch on your lunch break and not have to have a longer sit-down restaurant experience. I'd be happy to talk a little bit more about that, but again, my focus today is a little bit more on the transportation and the parking and the safety. Again, a lot of people are leaving the Ybor district to do a lot of their shopping, with really only boutique retail and things like restaurants being well met within the district. I'll skip this one. Let's talk about safety and cleanliness. So, broadly speaking, slight majorities of our residents and workers are satisfied with personal safety when it comes to walking to their vehicle. That number is lower for our workers. And when we look at the comment data in our survey, broadly speaking, this relates to walking back to your car or walking to the garage late at night. So that's why we see a little bit less of this for our residents and a little bit more of this for our worker populations. 71% of our residents and 69% of workers believe that enhanced lighting should be prioritized in the district. They also, similar numbers, ask for more security cameras and more patrolling officers. So again, we're seeing kind of a broad majority of both our residents and workers expressing a support for multiple of these different safety enhancement options within the district. And broadly speaking, most of our commuters are still in a car-centric environment. We've seen a little bit of an uptick or some shifts over the years, especially with COVID, with people walking a little bit more. But overall, people are taking their cars to work. There's a lot of foot traffic, obviously, within the district. But the multimodal and taking a public transit has not seen a lot of uptick, with the large and sizable exception of the streetcar, which enjoys very large popularity and high approval rating as well for those who use the service. So workers, when we dig into specifics related to parking, and I think this is very important, there's not so much of an issue with their being able to walk to their workplace and not have to walk too far from their parking spot. What we do see instead is concerns related to satisfaction for the parking options available for the guests and the patrons of their businesses, who either have to park in a garage or struggle to find street parking. This is a slight majority, right at 50%, saying that they're dissatisfied with the ability for their clients, guests, and customers to be able to find parking in Ybor. Residents, similar to, I'm sorry.
Another minute.
Yeah, just one more minute. Thank you very much. Resident concerns are very similar. They don't have so much of a problem finding their own parking, but if they want to have company, if they want to have visitors and guests, they're again, about 40% are saying that they have difficulty with their guests being able to find parking. So, these things can kind of reduce engagement with the district, as you can imagine. I'll go briefly over this. We still have a lot of room to move in terms of building the awareness of our residents and workers of the different CRA programs offered in the Ybor City District. And this is only for Ybor City residents, but I would expect that you would see similar numbers if you did the rest of the CRA districts. I'm almost done. Let me wrap up with this. Despite some of these challenges, broad numbers of residents and workers, 84% of our residents and 80% of our workers would still recommend Ybor City as a place to live, work, and play. So people still love the district, but we do have some concerns that we did surface through this work. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys
Thank you
may
very
have.
much. I saw First Board Member Carlson, the Board Member Miranda Maniscalco. Go ahead, sir.
No, thank you for doing this and presenting it. In regard to affordable housing, 6-7 years ago, we as a board decided that 30% of the money should go to affordable housing across the board. Ybor City, from the CAC, I've heard a lot of complaints about it, partly because there have been no projects. I've met with developers and landowners and all kinds of people trying to figure out how to make deals happen. I don't know what the status of it is, but we had millions of dollars stockpiling in there. So the good news is that now at least the broader community in the surveys is saying we think it's a priority too. So hopefully the CAC will buy into it and say it is important. And we have the money there, we just need to find projects. Second, was the timing of this, was it before the most recent incidents or after?
It was before.
Before, so that might have changed the safety concern. I know anecdotally, there's still a lot of concerns about safety, and there's some good ideas in here about having cameras, making sure the cameras are working, which they didn't 2 years ago. At least one of them didn't. And more lighting. I remember during the Greco administration, they put real bright lights. Do you guys remember this years ago? That was too much, but if we had brighter lights or some suggestion, I don't know who can come up with that, but that would be a good idea we could work on. And then generally, if there are any public safety recommendations on the parking thing, what I've heard anecdotally, and I don't know if the survey picked this nuance up, but people are complaining about charging for the meters because it used to be free parking.
That's correct. We've seen that in our comment data.
But what happened, my office is on 7th, my day job office is on 7th, and what would happen is that the people working there would park on the street in front of our office and all the others all day long because it was free, and there was no turnover of it. And so if you have a store, mine's not a retail store, but if you have a store and you expect people to be able to come in and out, let's say you're Blind Tiger, if all the people working there are taking up the free spots on the street, there's no space for the for the customers. And so I understood the mobility and parking folks' recommendation at the time, and I guess we'll have to continue to monitor it. I think it's free parking in the garages for the first 2 hours, but they charge on the street still. Is that, I can't remember which is
I
which.
believe that's true, yes.
So anyway, thank you for the update.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Miranda.
Well, thank you.
Ms. Scalco, then Young, then.
Thank you for your fine presentation, and being born in Ybor City, I don't know much about today's items, but when you look back, it resembles a renaissance of what's coming back, what was there before. I've seen a change from one thing to another, and now my personal feeling is like Tampa General and some landowners making a deal to put a hospital sort of, and you're gonna have a lot more people working there, you're gonna have a different type of employment, and that's good, I think. And I think that Ybor City is coming slowly but surely back to residential living. And you're gonna see a lot of changes in Ybor City in the next 10 years. That's just my opinion from what I've seen, the changes through the life cycle of Ybor City. And it's a wonderful place where the mutual aid society started. We had that, what they call now, Social Security taxes and Social Security benefits. We had that when you had nothing. The hospital offered you for $3 a month or $2 a month, a doctor, operation, whatever you needed, health care, and that's coming back little by little. So I think Ybor City is heading in the right direction, little by little. Yes, it's gonna have its hump in the road. Yes, things that are not normal are gonna happen, and it can happen anywhere. It can happen in downtown, it can happen in any part of the city of Tampa. These things are people that are just looking for trouble, and they found it by an accident. And that's how it is.
I think one point I would raise is a lot of the concerns that we see increasing are related to increased engagement with and utilization of Ybor. So as Ybor grows, some of these challenges are going to continue to grow, would be my expectation.
Well, prior to the 90s, it was nothing but tumbleweed, prostitution, and drugs. And then we changed that, and it became a district of entertainment. Now it's changing little by little. Those clubs that used to be worn out, the Centro, Centro Pañol, the Cuban Club, they're beautiful now, and they're getting better. And we have to keep that in mind, because those are things that really made Ybor City what it was. It was a gathering point of the whole neighborhood, and that's what it's all about. But thank you very much for your report, and very enthusiastically involved in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Maniscalco, then Young, then Hurtak. Go ahead,
Thank
sir.
you. I was walking in as I believe you were finishing up the slide about the parking on the streets and the paid parking, and how people are not, the numbers have dropped for people that are going because they're complaining about the parking. Is that correct?
So to clarify, the complaining about the paid nature of the parking comes from the comment data. So our hard numbers are more about affordable parking in general. So that's, we're not asking, are you mad that there's paid for parking? Now, people are volunteering that information in the open-ended comments. But we do see that affordable parking rose from being a fourth or a fifth place concern to the #1 concern for the working population in Ybor in this most recent version of the study.
Because I have a gentleman that weekly complains about how much, how greedy we are with the parking. But Councilmember Carlson brought up the fact that with the street parking, it wasn't, they may look at it at night, when they would mark the tires to see how many hours are, but during the day, people would be parking there all day, and so businesses were saying there's no turnover, people take advantage. I've told the gentleman, why don't you just park literally 20 feet away where it's free 2-hour surface parking, like behind Carmine's and, all back there. He wants to park on the street, and he wants to park where he wants to park, and that's unreasonable, And the threat is, I'm never going back to X business, and I'm not going to have breakfast here and whatnot, because he doesn't want to do it. But the options are there. I use the surface lots in the back, or I'll take the streetcar from here to Ybor City, which for now, the fees are, or the fares are covered. But as was brought up, it's an issue of turnover, because I was used to that free street parking, when the city removed the meters years ago, and you had that, if it was 2 hours or 4 hours.
I believe it was 2.
Some people would take advantage, and they would park all day, whether it's employees or visitors or whatnot. But we have other options. It's a matter of, some people don't, they don't want to walk, and some, there's different issues, but, the complaints I get is, this is what I want to park in front like I always have and whatnot. So, thank you for the information. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Young, then Board Member Hurtak.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, being that this is in my district, so this is very helpful, just to have this information. So I appreciate you all, taking the time and really doing this thorough research. And I would say one of the favorite parts for me is the end, that, the numbers, the percentages of people that recommend Ybor City to either live or work. I think that, speaks to the community, and people are like, oh, we have a few things, but overall, we really love being here, and we want to make it, as best as we can for everybody. So I just appreciate you all for doing the work. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And Councilwoman, if you need some more briefing on this information, just please talk to one of the CRA managers, and we'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one.
Thank you. Again, appreciate what you've done. So I have some more like technical questions. So it sounds like this, from here, we need a lighting plan and we need a business parking plan. And I was just wondering if maybe Ms. Thrower could talk about that and what possibilities, or if you have some, possibilities and ideas about what we do with this data.
For today, I'll probably stick to just the results for today. Thank you.
Okay. So from Ms. Thrower, do you have any? Yeah, if you have any, is the CAC talking about funding a lighting plan, or are we beginning the discussion of business parking plan?
So on the first question about a lighting plan, which is we really haven't embraced doing a lighting plan. We've done a lot of lighting improvements along the corridor. Y'all remember the archway lights, which were more aesthetic. We did those a couple years back. And then I do recall when Councilman Carlson mentioned when Mayor Greco lit up Ybor City, Councilman Miranda was on, and it was too bright and they had to tone it down. So we have Tico lights that are along those corridors. So the main corridor, yes. I think when we're talking about lighting, it's mainly in some of the neighborhood areas, back into maybe the south of 6 area and some of the surrounding. So we do have the neighborhoods that we would work with on that. It is something we can do as part of our CRA, and we will definitely address that. The second question about the business plan, yes, there's also a concern about the garages and the signage and how it's directing people. So I have reached out to Manager Revolt, and he's going to be coming to our next meeting. So we'll be talking with parking about not just the cost of parking, but also they changed the system in parking in Ybor City. I don't know if y'all are aware, they went to the frictionless system. So when you make a change like that, sometimes it throws people off. So there is some discussion we'll be having, but what's really good is about when our CAC does mention that there is a need or something happening, we try to immediately get to that department and say, let's talk about this. And they've been very good about coming to the meeting. So January, we're having him come.
Excellent. I really do appreciate that. And so thank you so much for this, because this is, what the data, especially, I really appreciate the way you've done the data over the last, the last 5 cycles you've done this. And it really shows that people are spending more time in Ybor, and we have growing pains. And so that's why I wanted to find out what we're doing to help focus on those growing pains. And I really love to hear it. And I'm sure we'll hear something in the next 6 months or so about plans that are coming forward. So thank you both.
And that's the purpose of doing the study, is really to prioritize the needs, identify the needs, prioritize them, and then work on those throughout our CRA program. So
absolutely. I knew you'd be on it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, board members. Anything else on this item? Oh, yes, sir, please.
I just want to add a couple things real fast. Ybor, because we talk about how it's changing and evolving, it is now with so many residents and soon thousands more, it's going to be a community again, not just a entertainment district, even though we don't even have entertainment district categories. But there are many people that love it for what it was at different periods of time, from the 50s to the 80s to the 2000s. And what I found getting deeply into it is that there are all these different groups that have a really different vision for what Ybor should be. And some folks don't like other people's vision. So I've been a part of, maybe my colleagues have too, but a part about several different conversations to try to build consensus. And I think the consensus building is critical going forward. There are several different organizations. One of them that still exists, which used to be our CAC, is YCDC. And YCDC Brenda's been to the meetings, I think some other folks have too. But the people that are members of all these other organizations, like the Chamber and the CAC and others, are able to go in there and have conversations. I think Tom DeGeorge maybe is the head of the CAC now and the Merchants Association, and so he's got two hats. But there are things that the Chamber doesn't want to do that maybe YCDC could do. And so maybe we could all think about this, and you all in the CAC and others could think about, is there some way to provide some startup capital for YCDC? I don't know if Cliff would let us do it. We can ask the question later, but if we could give $50,000 or $100,000 to YCDC to do consensus building and or additional roundtable discussions about visioning for Ybor, it would be incredibly valuable. And we've got Vince and the folks who have been around for a long time giving input, people whose families have been around for a long time, merchants, artists, all kinds of folks. But I think that would be really valuable, and YCDC seems to be kind of a neutral ground, which everybody is okay going to. And the last piece that maybe we want to include in either a roundtable discussion and or your research next year is to pull together maybe 3 or 4 times a year a meeting of the HR managers for the companies in Ybor. Some of them are so small they won't have HR managers, but the ones that have more than 10 or 20 employees, there are many, and it would be interesting to talk to them about it. Like with my own staff, when we moved from downtown to Ybor, they were at first afraid and thought they had to be escorted to the garages. Well, now they feel completely safe, and but there's a perception out there that may inhibit HR managers from being able to hire certain people, and so we need to think about the messaging and how we have the unified tools for companies to be able to hire people. Thank you.
To speak to business owners or HR managers would be a slightly different type of questionnaire. Obviously, we'd love to engage in something like that, but yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Great
Thank you.
presentation. We appreciate you very much. Okay, moving forward, item number 5, if I may. And Mr. McRae, was there a formal presentation or anything on this, or just?
No, just a
relying on
memo,
the-
and we just wanted to provide an update that in conversations with Parks and Recreation,
Yes, sir.
the work is slated to start on Waterworks Park for the equipment that we
Yeah.
did the site visit several months ago, between February 9th and February 23rd of next year.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, no, just a couple remarks, if I may. Obviously, this is, an issue of tremendous importance to a lot of people, and I want to make sure that when I talk about ADA accessibility, as I've said before for some of these projects, and I'm going to be motioning for some other things as well after looking at this list, I'm not just talking about the access to the park in terms of a sidewalk, and as important as that is, but also playground equipment that a person with a disability can use, like we're doing at Waterworks Park. And the reason that I motioned for Waterworks Park as well as Curtis Hickson is because those are central parks to the city of Tampa, and every park should have this, but especially these parks that are so popular. I think that's very, very important. This is something that is obviously very substantive for a lot of families with kids who have disabilities, whether it's autism, Down syndrome, an intellectual disability, a physical disability, whatever it may be, as well as symbolic and substantive. So it is something that's important. I mean, imagine, raising somebody with a disability, again, whether it's Down syndrome and intellectual disability, autism, and the different challenges that you have, starting with the school systems, with IEP, starting with healthcare, including recent cutbacks that we're seeing on Medicaid on the federal level, whether it's mobility issues and challenges with, getting from A to B and getting to work, et cetera, whether it's issues like housing, accessible housing, something that's so difficult for people with disabilities, whether it's jobs, whether it's internships that get you to first base potentially, and I know we're going to continue to be talking about that in the city of Tampa, or whether it's cultural issues. We've seen recently the remarkably low respect that some of our fellow Americans have for families raising people with intellectual disabilities, something that should disgust every decent person or every person that's ever stepped foot in a church, a house of worship, a synagogue, or a mosque. So for me, this is a very, very important issue. I know for all of us here on Tampa City Council, we have in New Tampa the All Abilities Park, the first City of Tampa park to be funded by the city that is a uniquely All Abilities Park. We should have that in East Tampa, in West Tampa, and in South Tampa, all throughout the city of Tampa. These are very, very important things. So I'm going to be making a motion, and obviously folks can talk and so forth, but for CRA staff to return, we can do it next month. Potentially, if you need more time, Mr. McCray, just let me know after I describe it, which will be on the status of disability accessible playground equipment in 4 areas. Number one, in channel side, because I see some descriptions here. I don't know if that's accessibility to the park itself. Again, if you're in a wheelchair, it's great to reach the park, but if you can't ride a ride, then what the hell difference does it make, right? So that's part one. Number two is Julian B. Lane. I don't know if there's any accessible equipment there. My request would be to see what is there so that we can act based upon that. Number three is Perry Harvey Park. And number four is, and this is really important, the East Tampa Rec Center. And is any disability accessible equipment going to be there? I believe that it is, because we were told that it was going to be. I believe that it is, and so I want to check on that. So if I may, counsel, again, for channel side, Julian B. Lane, Perry Harvey, and the East Tampa Rec Center on what disability accessible equipment is there, just a written report, right? That's my motion, if I may. And Mr. McCray, is that good? Do you need more time for that?
So I did have a question.
Yes, sir.
Because Parks and Recreation would be the one to
Yes, sir.
generate that report and facilitate that. Did you want us to look at that on the CRA side, or would you like to do
CRA,
that?
yes, sir.
Okay.
So in working with Parks and Recs, let's have Parks and Recs here in case if we have any questions. Again, the report should suffice. All I need is what's there. And again, with the East Tampa Park, is there plans for something there? Like, I know we have a ribbon cutting coming up. Is it going to be there at the ribbon cutting? That's important. So that's my motion, if I may, and Chairwoman.
So there's a motion by Chair Vieira. There's a second by Board Member Miranda.
Can I make it?
Yes.
He brought up a good point subtly just now. Is there a way you could say that you would like the CRA staff to work with city park staff to evaluate what's there, but then the role of the CRA staff would be to identify their recommendations for what's not there, to bring it up to
Yes, sir. Okay.
to standards. So that way, there's a delineated role between the CRA and the city staff.
I'm fine with that. I mean, but this report would just be what's there and what's planned there in terms of the East Tampa Rec Center. Once we find out what's there, I would be fine with that. But I don't want to put so much work on them in a month. All I want to know is, it's like checking a box. Yes or no? Is it there? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's
So would you like a written report?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a written report.
Yes, but I mean,
Are you comfortable with the motion? Okay.
but I mean, be prepared, obviously, to take questions on it, et cetera. But there won't be a verbal report that's necessary, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Board, and thank you, Mr. McCray. And that's for our January meeting, if I may. And sir, if for some reason you find that you need additional time, just call me. It's all good. You know how it is, and all that. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Are you done?
Oh, yes, ma'am, please.
So I'm going to motion to move items 9, 10, 11, and 12. They're all our appointments.
So we have a motion by Board Member Hurtak for, let me write this down, 9, 10, 11, and 12, seconded by Board Member Miranda. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much, board members. Okay, next we're going to move to, let's see, 13, if I may. Now, before that, just in case if she needs to leave, I wanted to ask Sophia, do you mind going up there, Sophia? You're like, no. So I wanted to recognize, if I may, my intern, Sophia, who's such a wonderful young lady who's going to be leaving us. She, and a lot of y'all, I guess everybody has met Sophia, who's a great person. And, you know, she was brought to us from the University of South Florida, from Ron Pierce, and has just done an amazing job. And I just wanted to recognize Sophia. May I say your LSAT score?
Maybe not.
Okay, so
maybe not the hard number.
Okay, what I'll say is this. She is going to become an attorney, going to be a wonderful attorney, and she took the LSAT, and I mean, what she got on it, like, is really good. Like, it's, you know, you have 180. She's pretty close to 180. I'm just going to say that. She's pretty close to 180. And when I got into law school 23 years ago, that would have got you into Yale. It would have. I mean, that Yale Law School, which is really, really stellar. And, you know, Sophia is a very intelligent, a thoughtful young person. Like, whenever I talk to her, you know, there's certain young people you talk to that you're like, man, my faith in youth is restored. I mean that. You're very thoughtful. She's a big fan of American history, has a very, very good social conscience and everything. And so, you know, I always do this. I always get a little things here. And so I got for Sophia, she's a big U.S. history guy, and this is, or person, and this is a picture of Congressman Thaddeus Stevens. If any of y'all know who Thaddeus Stevens was, he was a radical Republican. That was their name, the Radical Republicans, the original woke warrior, I guess, if you will, from the 1860s and 1870s, who was from Pennsylvania, and it was a United States congressman there, and he was one of the most fervent champions of laws that they would pass 100 years after Reconstruction. He strongly favored land redistribution, reparations, civil rights laws, immediate implementation of voting rights, the most radical, if not in the eyes of some of the racists out there, punitive people out there. And I know you're a fan. And I got to tell you, how old are you, Sophia?
I'm 21 years old.
How many 21-year-olds are fans of Thaddeus Stevens and know who Thaddeus Stevens is, right? So that shows you what a thoughtful person she is. So again, I'm a fan of hers, and that's it. So I just wanted to wish you well and thank you so much. So let's give her a round of applause. And if you'd like to say anything, which you're going to have to get used to that going to law school, if you're not already, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to thank first Councilman Vieira for welcoming me into his office. He and I, we encountered our mutual love for U.S. history pretty quickly, even though I pretty much noticed it as soon as I walked into his office. Yeah. But yeah, I would just like to thank Brandon, his legislative aide, for truly being the best mentor and supervisor that I could have had. I've learned so much from you, and you are such a warrior, and I look up to you greatly. And I'd like to thank Ron Pierce, he's out there somewhere, for placing me at Tampa City Council with Councilman Vieira. It was truly the best placement I could have asked for, and I definitely would not be where I am today moving forward without this internship. So, and thank you to everyone in City Council for being so welcoming, and it's been such a fun time, and I will really miss it dearly. So thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. God bless you. Board member, did anybody? Oh, go ahead. Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, no, did anybody want to say anything? Okay, great. Okay, great. Thank you, Sophia. Appreciate you. And I'll give this to you before you go. You're like, please. Okay, go ahead, Board Member Young.
And we also have another student whose today is her last day as well. While our time was short, but I know that you have been doing a lot of great work. So Miss Adom Nasir Ashun, did I say it correctly?
Almost, but it's a fact.
No, because names are important.
Adom Nizar Ashun.
Adom Nizar Ashun. Yeah. So today is her last day. So again, our time was short, but I know you have been doing some amazing work. So if you could tell us what you'll be doing after the internship and when your graduation date is.
Yeah. If you don't know anything about me, I'm a sociology major. So as a sociology major, breaking into like law or any kind of public policy is very hard. They'll look at your, like, they see the sociology and say, oh, you're not poli-sci, you're not public policy, we'll put you to the side. So I'm really, really grateful that I was able to be a part of the legislative internship program spearheaded by Ron Pierce at USF, and I was placed, obviously, in the office of the chair. If you know anything about me, I'm very, very passionate about people and community and legislature. So being able to see how the sausage gets made on the local level was amazing for me. My parents hated the fact that this was unpaid, but I was having the best time of my life driving down I-75. But yeah, I'm just so grateful to be able to be in this space, in this community with everybody. It just felt like I was at home. Everyone was so welcoming. Everyone was so open to explaining what a CRA was to me, which is great, and all the acronyms. After graduation, I graduate in spring, but next semester I'm going to be in Tallahassee interning at the House of Representatives with Representative Susan Valdez, which I'm really excited for. And then after graduation, I plan to kind of just work in the Tampa Bay area while I study for the LSAT to apply to law school. So yeah, that's about it. I do want to say one thing before I even was placed with the chair. When I was having my interview, I did request that I wanted to intern with the late Gwendolyn Henderson, right, of District 5. And I told them, I said, if you don't give me this, I won't do it. And unfortunately, Ms. Henderson passed, but I'm really lucky that I've been able to work with Darlene Johnson and Naya, Councilwoman Young in her office. And I just think it's a really great testament to Councilwoman Henderson's legacy, that even though I wasn't able to work with her directly, I was able to continue her legacy by pushing and embracing, young Black women in politics and policy, which I know is what she would have wanted. So I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope to see you all soon. So thank you.
Any comments, Council? And if I may, I'd love to go out with you for coffee or something. Brandon, let's set that up to talk about law school and stuff like that. And I'll give you. I have it's not funny. It's sad actually. When Councilwoman Young passed on, I was in Alabama. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Henderson. God, I'll do that. There you go. Passed on. I was in Alabama and actually bought 2 books for her that I never got to give her because she obviously passed on, and I'll give you one of them all.
Oh, thank you so much.
Since that was very sweet of you to talk about her. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll set that up. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I know, right? Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. They want 13 before. Yep. So if Mr. McCray, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, you want to do 13 before 6?
Yes, but
okay, go for it.
If we could go ahead and take care of 6.
Okay, yes,
because
sir.
we
Let's
do
do
have
that.
some other staff here.
Yes,
and
sir.
then-
So let's
and then we
do
can move.
number 6. Board Member Carlson.
Yeah, my aide made 4 sets. I think it's 4 sets, 4 or 5 sets of both of the documents. Can I, if you guys are against this completely, just vote to approve the existing one. If you're open to it, I'll just quickly take you through what I think are some of the big changes. Do you want me to do that? Or?
If I may, I'm open to it. I'll hear you out. I have no problem with that. Yeah.
So if you start, the document that I wrote has draft contract on the top left, and I think this is on base. Both versions are on base if anybody's watching remotely. The whereases are pretty much the same. The only thing that I did was I realized that the prior versions. By the way, we revised this in 7 years ago, so it's not unusual that we would edit it. But I realized that in the documents, it talked about city council interchangeably with the CRA board and the CRA. And so I put in different terms to separately talk about the CRA board, the Tampa CRA, et cetera, so that it was all completely clear. Because in an agreement, it's agreement between the city and the CRA, Tampa CRA, but the city council and the CRA board would both have to agree to it. But besides that, these are pretty much the same. And then if you get to page 4 where it says purpose, that was just, I wrote all of this. As I mentioned, I'm not a lawyer, but I write contracts for my own business and clients. You might disagree with some of it, but just in principle, the idea is just to put in, what a CRA is. I put this in obligation of the tax-paying public just to try to set that the CRA districts, there's an opportunity cost of CRA districts not spending money on police and fire and other general fund operations. So it's an investment not just of the people in the district, but it's an investment in the entire city and a district. And then there's a larger name for the Tampa CRA, but then there's a shortened version. Branding, this gets in an area where Cliff will warn us a little bit, but branding here just doesn't mean running ads telling people what the CRA is. It is just saying that we have a separate logo and that logo should be used on CRA projects so that people know that it's separately identified as a CRA project. On communication, we've talked about this before. We're going to we have our own communication person. When that happens, we can separately communicate. Again, we can't do it for marketing purposes, but just for the purposes of communicating with the public to let them know what is a CRA investment is important. There are times when the communication department of the city takes the initiative and makes announcements, and they don't include the CRA or don't include sufficient CRA designation. An example was the rebricking of Ybor, which looked like a city announcement, and so the public got upset that we were using money that could have been used on potholes to put bricks in. Also, there was one a couple weeks ago with J.C. Newman. Although it mentions CRA, what this communicates is that just like the city would respect NAACP or any other organization that they're working with, the idea here is that the CRA can make a post and then the city can repost it. But if the city, in effect, tries to take credit for a CRA project without identifying the CRA, it's not just about politics, it's about the public not understanding why you're spending the money. It explains here that on the next page 6 that there is a strategic plan that we all worked on, which is not the community redevelopment plans. It is a strategic plan for the overall CRA. And then it explains what the community redevelopment plans are. It explains what a CRA attorney would do. In the prior document, which I helped negotiate 7 years ago, we created the position of the executive director. In realizing the nuance of it, the old document calls the person a director. A director is a specific budgeted HR designation within the city. I think that's separate from the compensation level that is equivalent of the city is different than what we would call the person. This is a separate legal entity, and I think it should be called executive director. I've been told by members of the community that it should more clearly designate here that the executive director reports to us. In the prior version, it does say that, and it says the person has a dotted line to the mayor for administrative purposes. Because of Nicole and Elise filling in the position temporarily, some people think that this position reports to the head of economic development, which is not true. It was never in the contract 7 years ago.
You want one more minute, sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah, give 2 minutes if you want.
For the first time, it clarifies that on page 7 that the CRA staff report to the executive director. Of course, they have to follow the HR rules and other things, but it needs to be clear that if the CRA executive director doesn't have authority over the staff, then we have a problem. There's some ordinances regarding the arts, and this was a huge discussion a couple years ago, but it just clearly designates that the arts person is not just working on public art and is working on arts in general and reports to the executive director. It talks about third parties, funding and approval proposals. There's a whole list in the existing document of things that the city would do, but we are more and more changing to be a grant-making organization. We don't need to have the staff to implement a project. If the city is a partner and the city is getting funding from the CR, the city can implement, but otherwise we're providing funding to other groups to implement. On page 9, it talks about city requests, that city requests need to be fully disclosed and that they should not get preferential treatment. They should not be taken out of the budget until they're approved. They need to be put in the basket with everybody else. It has some services here that are provided by the city. We have to follow the purchasing rules and legal rules of the city, so that is in there. It describes on page 10 other city involvement, and then the rest of it is kind of the same. The only thing is that I think we need to look more carefully every year at how much we're spending. 7 years ago, I think we were spending like $1.5 million, and now we're spending close to $3 million. That's still only 3% or whatever of the overall cost, but we need to look at how that's allocated. My request to you would be that you ask the CRA staff and the city staff to work with us individually to get feedback and come back with a revised version of this a month from now for approval.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Hurtak, Board Member Maniscalco.
I appreciate these specifics. It would be helpful to, again, we talked a little bit about some line item stuff, just because it can be hard to go back and forth and just see what's different. But I will say I really do appreciate how you're trying to get this, focusing on getting it under the CRA's purview. Because I did notice, and I meant to ask, but I quite honestly didn't know who to ask. I mean, we evaluate our aides every year, but like technically then, we should be evaluating.
That's in the prior contract.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten that. We should also be evaluating, you know, Ms. Kopesky and all of that, but that's not happening. And I'm not quite sure who's in charge of that. I know, but it shouldn't be anyone in the city. It should be us, because we're the direct report. That's the direct report to us. So I do agree. I would second your motion to work with, I guess, Ms. Zellman's office. And whoever else we would need to do to make sure that this sort of fits. And the only thing I would like in your motion is to make sure that when talking to us directly, that if there are any concerns, that they're brought up to us then and not in the CRA setting. Like, we need to have talked those out behind the scenes individually with city staff and our CRA staff, and then talk about it together. I don't want them to come forward and say, well, we disagree with this and we disagree with that, when we could have done that behind the scenes and tried to hammer it out. In the meantime, yeah, I'd like to get this done, but I definitely agree on moving some things around. So thank you.
Okay, Board Member Maniscalco, go ahead, sir.
So in looking at this, I'm trying to find, you know, any gotchas, anything that really stands out that's absurd or ridiculous, and I don't see that. But, you know, I want to look at this further, and then in comparison with the other services or the existing services agreement here, would there be any objection, as has been proposed, for taking another month, and then, you know, we look at the legalities and everything about this?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Good morning again, Cedric McCray, Tampa CRA Director. As a point of procedure, we have provided a draft, and it was updated by Attorney Shepard in September, and again in November it was before you. If it is the pleasure of the board to step away from that, we would request that, you know, there be an approval of that, or you all decide to go in a different direction, and then we would need to instruct, and that has come up to for the director and Attorney Shepard to have conversations with the city and administration related to the agreement.
If we were to vote down item number 6, what has been proposed, the services agreement, and we look at continuing or going into January on the Carlson version, as it says, and if we disagree on the Carlson version, can we go back to the original services agreement that has already been, if we voted down today, can we revive it and bring it back in January, is what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will yield to Attorney Shepard. I know that he may want to opine on that also.
Mr. Shepard, go ahead, and then Board Member Miranda.
Yes, that's fine. I think that's going to depend largely on how we are received at the city staff level. And I've had zero feedback from anyone, which is not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, I don't know whether they think this is an okay agreement that they can talk about and we can get somewhere, or they are dead set against it. So I wish I could give more guidance on that, but my presumption is they don't want the CRA to go away. So if we vote this down today, it should be able to be brought back up. But as I understand the situation that we're in, we are currently proceeding, if we vote it down, without an agreement for services. And so that may, at some future date, become an issue. But for the moment, I think we're okay.
Board Member Miranda.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I am not in disagreement or agreement with anything, but I like to compare this word by word, letter by letter, page by page with what we have now. But on page 9, just reading it now real quickly, I see this, per the agreement, the city will provide the following personnel to the Tampa CRA. It doesn't say shall. There's a difference. I'm not a lawyer, but there is a difference. Executive Director, CRA, Communication Director, Arts Executive, CRA, District Manager, and then Administrative Assistant. However, then the bottom line on the second one, it says, in addition, the city will provide the following services to the CRA: human resources, legal, purchasing, information technology, office space, and services. So what's the difference?
No, that's just lifted from the.
Yeah, but did it say shall or will?
But, that's the kind of feedback that we can.
I'm not a lawyer, but I know it means a difference
in
a legal matter.
That's the kind of thing we can give them feedback on.
And I have a question. Are you finished, sir? Board Member Miranda?
I'm finished.
Yes, sir. I have a question. I mean, with these proposed changes, I have no problem with discussing them or anything of that nature. Can we approve this and then amend it, or we can't?
I'd be really uncomfortable doing it without talking to our city staff, our city legal staff. I mean, I'm particularly interested in legal staff, because, yes.
Okay.
So
Can
I would, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did you want to say something first? Sorry. I wanted to say a couple things. Board member Maniscalco said he didn't see a gotcha. This is, my intent in doing this is simply clarify, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what's what. For example, a big piece of confusion is, who do the CRA staff report to? And I think, based on nodding heads, we all agree that it should report to the executive director, but all this does is it clarifies it. It still includes, by the way, that that the executive director still reports to the mayor for administrative reasons. It said, I took the language from the other document. So we're not taking any powers away from the city. If there were implied powers that the city thought they had, that this might take them away. But remember, we're the city also, and we're city council, so there would not be any kind of gotcha that takes away from the city, because we're the city and the CRA board. All the intent of this is only to clarify and try to guide this going forward. Remember when I joined 7 years ago, they were tightly connected. CRA was paying half of the economic development person's salary, and it was just it wasn't presented as a separate organization. I would just ask again that we I'd make a motion that we ask city staff and CRA staff to come back a month from now with feedback, with a revised version based on a revised contract based on feedback from the board members.
I would just specify city legal staff.
But Mr. Shepherd has to look at it too.
No, I'm saying, but talk to
Okay, I see.
city legal staff.
Okay, yeah, so CRA staff and city legal staff.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Board Member Carlson, second by Board Member Hurtak. Any further comments, Mr. McRae?
No, I just wanted to remind the board that traditionally, once the fiscal year started, this agreement has already been approved by the board. So technically now we are somewhat out of compliance.
Well, but I did hear Mr. Shepherd say that we should be okay, because that was going to be my question, and he answered it. And as long as Mr. Shepherd is okay, I am okay.
It doesn't change the budget either. All of that is just lifted directly from the old document.
Okay, anything? Board Member Young, go ahead, ma'am.
So, say we, we want to look at this further. What would that look like? What would be the process for that? I don't know if
That's what he just made the motion
Yeah.
for. So we're going to let city legal staff and CRA staff talk about it, and then they're going to come to each of us individually and talk about it, and then we'll talk about it again in January.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions?
But
Anything?
the motion included, I can work with you if it didn't come out clear, but I said that they would come back with a revised agreement, and it could be a hybrid between the two. The idea is just to listen to us, and based on the feedback of the CRA board, create a revised agreement for us to ideally approve in January.
Okay, we have a motion by Board Member Carlson, seconded by Board Member Hurtak. Anything further from any
Just want to
council? Yes,
also
sir.
keep in mind, if we're coming back, our deadline for January items are next week. So that gives us roughly about 2 weeks to kind of pull this all together. And I know we're approaching the holiday season, and if Attorney Shepherd is meeting with the requested parties as well as you all individually, I want to make sure that we have enough time to do that, and then, the board members will be available.
I honestly, it's our board, so I think we could waive those rules and have it be available, when it's available. So, I mean, we'll try to put it on base as quickly as possible, but we don't need to follow city procedures. We can follow our own procedures.
Can I mention one more thing? We've gotten emails from the community about additional recommendations the community has had, and I think those could be just filtered through each of us. If you all like their ideas, then present them to them. If you don't.
Thank you. We have a motion by Board Member Carlson, second by Board Member Hurtak. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, ma'am.
And then I guess I make a motion to waive the rules
For on base.
to put this in on base whenever Mr. Shepherd is comfortable with a draft.
We have a motion by Board Member Hurtak, second by Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Could I say one? In the meantime, as placeholders, they could do like we did today and have both existing additions, maybe with a cover note that says that these will be hybrid put into one.
Okay, thank you, Board. Next year, you wanted to do 13? Okay, and roughly how long do you think you'll need for the presentation?
10 minutes?
Okay, let's do 10 if I may, please. Thank you. I set, by the way, Board, some legal phone calls at 12:15 on my practice for anticipation of lunch, so that's why so just FYI, around 12:15 I'll have to leave, which I think we'll be fine by then, but just FYI.
Good morning. Good morning again. I'm John Shuffle. I'm Vice President and Director of Design for API, which is an architectural design firm. We've been working with the city on both the Wayfinding and Gateway and Wayfinding program for East Tampa, which I'm presenting today, as well as the multi-district project, which is the 4 CRAs downtown. I was up here earlier wearing my volunteer hat, and today, right now, I'm wearing my professional hat. So, is the presentation up? Okay, I can't see it, so there we go. So we have, I'm going to talk today about first what we've done. We've completed the first 3 phases of this project, and then get into, at the end, design concepts. And the goal is to get input from you and choose a design concept to move forward with. So starting with, am I able to advance? This. All right, there we go. So in the first phase, discovery and analysis, we had a kickoff meeting with the city staff team. We had a kickoff meeting with the CAC members and received a lot of great input that we've implemented into the program. We set objectives and goals. We developed a detailed analysis did a survey of East Tampa, looking into the history, did analysis of where vehicular and maybe pedestrian and gateway signs would go, and we looked at circulation patterns. And based on all of that, we developed a circulation strategy that was specific for East Tampa. In the second phase in programming, we've had monthly meetings with the CRA staff, and in this phase, we had discussions with FDOT. There are certain regulations. Pretty much all of the streets in East Tampa are 35 miles or higher, which means that we would have to use 6-inch copy. We were able to work with them and get that. Essentially, most signs now can be the 4-inch copy, and there are just 2 roads where we're able to, we'll have to do 5-inch copy. But that's a big cost difference, the 4-inch versus the 6 inches, so that was very important. We developed the navigational strategy for gateways and vehicular signs and prototypical messages for those signs, and then we developed a sign location plan and started to locate where each of those signs would be. And additionally, we developed a draft destination inclusion criteria of the destinations that we would include. Based on our meetings with the CACs, they wanted to include cemeteries and includes a lot of the parks. Phase 3, concept design, which we have completed. In this phase, we developed signage concepts. We met with, in those sign concepts, we did review with the ADA department to make sure that we were in compliance, which we are. We further developed the sign location plan. We've done a lot of field surveys to the site. We then presented our concepts and our findings to the CAC, East Tampa CAC, back in September, and received their input. And then the final part of this project is today, presenting to you. I just wanted to go over a few of the summary recommendations that we made for this program. First and foremost was establish an iconic gateway signage for the neighborhood. East Tampa, as you're well aware, is a very large neighborhood. I think the second largest of all the CRAs, and it is number 1. Okay, I wasn't sure if Drew Park was larger. Anyway, so one of our concepts was that There's a lot of area to cover, and a very inexpensive way to cover that with placemaking is through inexpensive banners, like vinyl banners. And so you'll see that as part of our program. We wanted a cohesive signage system that really reflects the community's cultural identity, the pride, and the unique character. We wanted to boost the visibility and accessibility of key destinations and landmarks. We wanted to incorporate distinctive design elements and integrate branding and storytelling that celebrates East Tampa's rich history and its heritage. And very importantly, we've heard very clearly from the CAC when we presented to them for our introductory meeting that they wanted to have input on the design, on where we put gateways. And so we recommended that there be some sort of stakeholder input. And what resulted, based on the contract that we had with the city, the best way to approach it while still remaining in our contract was to do an online survey. And so, and I want to point out that for the multi-district project, no stakeholder, we presented to the CACs, but there was no individual stakeholder input or survey that was done for those projects. So for the survey, this was just all coordinated through city staff. It was sent out in July, in mid-July, and opened for about 2 weeks, and went out to about 500 contacts. And it was also sent to an email list. There were a total of 11 questions for people to answer, and there were 44 responses. I think what you have in front of you is the full survey. I'm just going to hit the highlights. The questions that we asked, what do you love most about East Tampa? What's the most iconic or identifiable thing? What differentiates East Tampa from the rest of the community? Where would you recommend locating primary and secondary gateway signs? We had color palettes, and we asked them to choose up to 2. We also gave them design styles for gateway signs and wayfinding signs, and asked them to select their favorites. And so we do have a key takeaway in your document, as well as the results for all the questions. I'm just going to skip to so some of the things that came through. We did a word diagram. So historic, community, diverse. This is all the vibe of East Tampa. Cultural, neighborly, evolving, generational, walkable, green spaces, and quiet. There were a couple comments that really stood out to us. It's the heart of the African American community. It has a lot of historical roots, and it's a central location convenient to accessing all parts of Hillsborough County. This slide shows a summary of the aesthetics. So the top images were the ones that received the highest votes in terms of gateway signs and wayfinding signage. So there's some historical nature to those signs, but a bit of modernness as well. And then the color palette at the bottom. Something that really struck us, mentioning that this is the heart of the city, we actually mapped East Tampa where it lies within the quadrants of the city limits, and the northeast part of East Tampa does sit at that intersection. And so that informed a little bit of the design that we came up with. So we presented this to the CAC, as I mentioned, but we wanted to make them aware. We knew that they wanted a sign system that was different, that's being done for the multi-district project. So this represents the multi-district. On the left is Ybor, so we wanted to be different from that. We also became aware of the logo that was being used for the CRA action plan, and it was already being implemented in stamped concrete and other places. So that will appear in some of the concepts that we show. I was informed that for some reason, if you're able to switch to this, somehow the PDF got messed up. Are you able to switch?
T&I, can you switch to the wolf?
There are 2 pages that are messed up. Okay, so this is the correct version. So in this first option, this is the one that was the most historic in nature and incorporates more historic type poles. We've branded East Tampa at the top. For all of these, all the signs. There's a primary gateway sign, there'd be 3 of those, there'd be 3 secondary gateway signs. Then we have vehicular directionals. We treat the back of the signs. And then we also have incorporated a banner design that's meant to incorporate historical images. It could be photographs or it could be artwork. Now we can switch back to the presentation. Next page. Oh, that's me. And this is just showing it in context, the gateway sign. The second concept, this gets its inspiration from the obelisk that's there, which is identified as one of the most iconic elements. We've also incorporated the tagline, "At the heart of it all," referencing it being the center. On the back side, we start to bring in a subtle patterning that picks up on that CRA logo. Option 3 has a brick base. This, again, combines the historic nature with a little more modern, has curvature to it at the top. This is the other one that's messed up, but I don't think I need to switch it. That yellow is not supposed to be on the obelisk. But this, in both option 4 and option 5, we pick up on that CRA action plan logo. This has for the gateway sign, it's an illuminated totem that have patterning, it would light at night. This has individual strips for each of the destinations. And then option 5 is, again, this got messed up in the PDF somehow. So the "we are" is supposed to be, the R should be next to the "we." But this incorporates out that line, "We are East Tampa." And then we also have received ballpark pricing from a few different fabricators. We have a total budget of about $660,000, and we're coming in at about $620,000. And I will just mention that the feedback from the CAC, it was almost unanimous that they preferred option 4. The CAC members also went back to their neighborhoods and got input. One of the groups of neighborhoods chose option 3 as their favorite, and another one chose option 1. So that's it.
Okay. Yes, Board Member Maniscalco.
I like option 1, but the CAC chose, which one did you say?
Option 4.
4, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Board Member Young.
So I want to say that, one, thank you all for doing this. I think it's really important. I think signage is important. It gives a sense of place. My only concern, and Cedric and I, we when we did our briefing, spoke about this, is the number of responses. And I know it's very difficult to get community to participate. As someone, I've done community engagement before, and I mean out to talking to people outside of grocery stores, gas stations, all those things, just to get a few extra responses. And I don't know, like going forward, as far as the signage, what it looks like if we have to make a decision today. But for me, and just knowing the amount of history that is in East Tampa, and knowing, again, that sense of place is really important. When I see that number, the community engagement person in me is like, ooh. So I really, and again, I don't know, going forward, I don't know if it's, if we're able to have time or something just to put it out at least one more time, now that we've spoken about it, and, maybe going back to those neighborhood groups again. I mean, heck, if I gotta stand outside a grocery store, I'll do it. I don't even mind that. But I see that number, and I'm bringing it up again. I've said it already, but I would be remiss if I did not say, looking at that number was like, man, I wish that we could get a little bit more participation.
Just knowing there's cost involved with that, so we would have to up the cost.
How much would that be?
It's something we'd have to address
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, we
Director
would have to
McCray.
renegotiate the contract.
Yes.
Even like putting it on social media for like all of that?
I do know that one of the neighborhood groups did put it on
Mhm.
Facebook, and they received a lot of feedback. You might have
Mhm.
more to say about several of the CAC members
Yeah.
went out into their communities.
Mhm.
We heard back, I believe, from 3 of the CAC members
Mhm.
themselves. So I'm not sure how many of them actually did go out, but more than 44 people weighed in on the sign design.
You said more than 44?
Yeah, the 44 was just for the survey itself,
Mhm.
the online survey.
Oh, so how many people weighed in on the sign design?
Do you know?
Oh.
Good morning, Cedric McCray, Tampa CRA Director. I can't say specifically what the total number was. I know for the online survey portion, there were 44 responses. Keep in mind, board members, that when we went through the restructuring last year, there are ex officio seats on the East Tampa CAC, and they are all connected to a neighborhood group or association. And we also asked them to solicit that feedback. We did have some that followed suit and solicited those responses. We provided that to Mr. Bryce Farringer, who on our team, and then it went to API as a consultant. So, and I would like to highlight that because of some of the difficulty in getting responses and soliciting feedback during the conversations very early on, we decided to do an online survey to go one step above of what was done with the wayfinding signage for the urban core.
Yeah.
So that's something that, because we understand that it's more difficult sometimes to collect that information, and API was able to work with us to get that done.
Yeah. I know we talked about it, but I have to say, because, it again, your signage is important. It's a sense of place, and it tells who, kind of where you are, and you want to be proud of what that signage is and want it to be representative of community. So I just have to put it out there. So whatever we all decide to do.
Board Member Carlson.
Our screens are stuck on concept 2. Is it possible somebody could move it up to concept 4? And maybe we could flash the public one more time just to show them. And while they're doing that, out of the budget, how much of it is, what percentage?
Can you move it forward to 4? Thank you.
What percentage of the budget is the directional signs versus the monument or landmark signs?
It's the majority. Well, are you talking about the budget or the actual ballpark pricing? Because there are budget numbers for each. The budget number for the gateway signs is about 400,000, and for the wayfinding is 200 something. But because we're only doing 3 primary and 2 secondary gateway signs, the ballpark pricing came in about 120,000 for the gateway signs themselves, and the rest, about 500,000, is for the wayfinding signs.
Yeah. Having been involved in a lot of these exercises, I know how difficult it is to get consensus. And I agree with my colleague. Ideally, we would have had more input. Can I just ask, where did this, maybe I missed this in the beginning, but where did this idea initiate? Who asked for these signs? Did the board ask, or did the CAC ask? Whose idea was this?
Actually, the CAC several years ago, actually Ms. Burton was just here. I believe she was on the Community Advisory Committee for East Tampa. There was a conversation about establishing some type of gateway signage as you come into East Tampa, and then also wayfinding.
Another thing, a difference between concept 2, for example, and concept 4 is that concept 4 says welcome to, where in the graphics you can't see the T on the monument sign. I assume that's a conversion error or something, but I think welcome to is safer than having a tagline, because getting consensus on a tagline is going to be really difficult. It's hard enough to get consensus on colors and design, but I wish we could do more public outreach, but other than that, I would just support what the CAC recommended. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Hurtak.
Thank you. I agree if we can do more outreach. My only concern is they've been working on this for like 3+ years. So I'm concerned about spending more time on it. But I am concerned as well. But my question is, to go back to one of the first things you showed was the downtown signage. And I asked this question to Director McCray in our briefing, but how did the downtown, how were they able to do actual neighborhood signs? And we can't do that for East Tampa, because East Tampa is not a neighborhood. East Tampa is a region of the city. The neighborhoods we have over a dozen neighborhoods in East Tampa. And so I just wanted to know how we were allowed to spend money on signage in downtown focused on their individual neighborhoods, but we're not allowed to do that for East Tampa.
So the information I have is that the Downtown Partnership was involved in that process, and they facilitated that and are covering that expense for those specific neighborhoods.
So I appreciate that. And so the only other thing I would love to know, and again, if this is a little bit extra, maybe we can, I would like to know what it might look like. Again, and this would be the city's side, this would be city council's hat, what it would look like to have neighborhood signs developed and created so that as money becomes available, we can actually have signage designed for each individual neighborhood.
So identifying each of the neighborhoods or actually having different designs for each?
No, based on whatever the chosen design is, have something. And again, I don't know if we can do this with CRA dollars or not, but just finding, I'm looking at number 4 right now, and having the neighborhood sign use this design, and then the city then could pay for them as time allows, maybe a few a year, but that way we update all of East Tampa, because it is not a neighborhood, and I think that saying it's a neighborhood, it's the largest CRA in the state. So it is a giant geographical area. And what concerns me is that we only have 3 entrances when it is gigantic. Yeah. So for me, it's very hard to wrap my head around how we're really going to get people to understand this as East Tampa without having more of these signs. So again, that's a concern I have, but if we're going with what we have now, I'm fine with it. I just want to know that in the future, in this CRA, we may choose to add more signage, and then also to have something prepared for the individual neighborhoods themselves.
Okay. Thank you, Madam. Board Member Carlson, did you wish to speak?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I agree with the point about neighborhoods. Before I got on council, I did several pro bono logos for neighborhoods. It's really difficult to come up with, again, consensus in even a neighborhood as to what a neighborhood should look like and how it should be depicted. I think in the 90s, the city put out those beige signs that have the neighborhood. Yeah, I agree. I haven't liked them since the 90s, but they're out there for all the neighborhoods, and it doesn't help differentiate the neighborhoods at all. And I wish we could individually brand neighborhoods, but that's probably going to be like a second or third phase. I wanted to say there's also a maintenance issue. In Hyde Park, the Hyde Park neighborhoods pay extra. They collect money themselves, and they pay extra to get historic-looking signs. But even though they pay for it, they've been having a hard time getting the city to fix and repair the signs. And this is in Hyde Park. And so one concern I have that we definitely need to address is who's going to pay for the maintenance and replacement of the signs? Because a car hits a sign, somebody knocks over a sign, somebody throws paint on it. Who's going to pay for the repair and replacement of it? Because the last thing we need is to have $600,000, $700,000 worth of beautiful signs to have a whole bunch of them defaced, and then the folks in East Tampa to say, well, the city's not supporting us because there's extra cost here. So just a footnote to think about. And also, I asked while Ms. Burton was out where the genesis of this came from. You said that maybe she was involved. Could I just ask Ms. Burton, Connie, does this answer the question that when you were chair of the CAC, does this answer the question that you asked for in having signage?
Thank you, Connie Burton. Just one board member. These were not our first priorities, but members of the boards did request this.
And it was something that was initiated when you were chair?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I voted no.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
So I think we need to have something going forward. Are we going to ask for more input? Are we going to allow the CAC's choice to move forward? What are we gonna do?
Board member, you go ahead, ma'am.
I will move forward if we are able to, I don't know, maybe put in future plans for, like Councilman Hurtak was saying about the neighborhoods. Is that, what would that look like going forward?
That would be a separate issue.
Yeah.
And then looking at city council budget, we would see about the funding and financing of individual neighborhood signs to match the motif of what the CAC wanted or voted to support, which is Concept 4.
And I mean, just looking at it, it seems like the secondary gateway sign would be the perfect sign for a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So.
It's like a Tiffany lamp.
There's certainly ways to incorporate neighborhoods I'm speaking from a design consultant perspective, not for the CRA, but there's certainly ways to incorporate neighborhoods onto the signs. We do it in many cities. And so that's really a Director McRae, if you want to speak to that.
The issue is that legally we cannot do that. Like we're only allowed to do wayfinding with under CRA dollars. So that's why City Council would have to take on the responsibility of the neighborhood. So it's just a money logistical thing. We need to follow the rules.
I see.
So.
Got it.
So do we have a motion or?
Let Ms. Young, or
If you'd like to,
Councilwoman
ma'am,
Young.
you may. If you'd like to, no pressure.
And to do more public outreach, it would cost. I just want to be clear.
Well, I think if it's an online survey that's coordinated by the CRE team, I don't think there'd be additional costs. That's something that we'd have to speak to the Director McRae.
Yes, we'll have some internal conversations. We use software through the city to push those surveys out, and we can update you at the next CRA board meeting.
Could I throw in? I don't want to interrupt you, but I'd throw in an idea related to that, if you don't mind. At the very least, if you all could send it to each of the neighborhood leaders and each of the CAC members and ask them to post it and circulate it, and I would just use the final one to get feedback, or at the most I would use 2 or 3. I wouldn't use all of them again.
Yeah, the concept.
And then the second thing, and I don't want to ask Ms. Burton to get back up again, but I know we've gotten some feedback from the public that we should spend this money on something else altogether. And so I don't know whether we want to ask that question or not. But that's separate then. Which design do you think best reflects the community?
Okay, so Board Member Young, did you make your motion, or was it to approve this but to get additional input, or?
I think we need additional input before approving.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can do that without cost, right? Is that what you're saying,
Yeah.
Cedric? Okay, and thank you, Cedric.
I don't know.
Okay, so I guess
we can
direction.
just give direction. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like 2 weeks, like just give a little bit of extra time. And now, myself, I'll even go out and talk to people, say, hey, make sure, just complete this, just so we get this last, couple of responses on these concepts, not all of them, just the concepts, and then we can have a final decision. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Is that
and
fine?
if you post it on the CRA's Instagram and Facebook, and you let us know it's out there, if you send an email to us, we will all share it. But also send it to THAN, and they can put it out there, so that they can send it to their East Tampa neighborhood groups. And send it to the NAACP, send it to the folks who are very active in that area, and I think then we'll get a bit more.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to say one
Yes,
more
sir.
quick thing. I'm not a signage expert, but I do branding. I think that the secondary gateway sign should just be for neighborhoods. It doesn't need, we have, every one of them says East Tampa on the top, and then you have the primary gateways, but East Tampa is carved up by a lot of neighborhoods, as my colleagues have said, and that sign is the perfect one to identify neighborhoods. So it doesn't have to have a logo on it, but just as a starter, if I was going to circulate only this idea, instead of having East Tampa on that sign, I would put like Belmont Heights or whatever, and show people, what it would look like as a neighborhood identifier.
Yep, okay, thank you, board. And by the way, I mean, for I like a lot of these signs. I love the one over there with the civil rights protesters with the flag. I think that's lovely, and maybe we could talk about, putting things of local people like Robert Saunders, Francisco Rodriguez, things like that. Harry T. and Harriet Moore, who obviously were MIMS, but they had a connection to Robert Saunders here, and things like that, so just discussion. But yeah, well, thank you, appreciate you, thank you very much.
Thank
And-
you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we need 7, okay, that's what I was gonna say. So let's, onward to number 7, please.
Thank you.
And by the way, if I may, before our board members, the Hill Ward Henderson chocolates came in, that's all I'm gonna say. I like that, that's all, go ahead. I know, right, it's good, go ahead, sir.
Good morning again, board members. The next item we have is a special project grant for the Centro Asturiano, which is on the corner of Palm Avenue and Nebraska Avenue, for a special projects grant. And there is a presentation, and I'm going to call Ms. Dee Reed up at this time.
Good morning, Dee Reed, Economic Development Coordinator. We have Crystal Lastra that is going to present for Centro Asturiano, and then I will follow her with staff's recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. And roughly, ma'am, how long do you think you're gonna need roughly?
5 minutes.
Let's do it, okay, 7
Yes.
5, thank you.
So good morning and afternoon, almost now. I want to first start by saying thank you to each of you for considering.
Oh, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Oh, Crystal Lastra.
Thank you.
So my day job is working at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. I happen to own a home in Ybor City. I've enjoyed all the conversation this morning. And I moonlight as a president of the, very much moonlight as a president of the Centro Asturiano de Tampa in Ybor City. So I want to start really by saying thank you to all of you for the work that you do in making Tampa so much better, and to all of the CRA staff for supporting us through this process and helping us understand it as we go for consideration. So I wanted to go ahead and pull up the presentation. Am I in charge of making that appear? Or there it is, okay. All right. So for those of you who aren't really familiar with the Centro Asturiano, it was a club established, a social club and mutual aid society established in Ybor City in 1902 by Spanish immigrants who came here to work in the cigar industry. Members were provided cradle-to-grave care here, including health care, banking, entertainment, and a strong sense of community. Over the decades, we've really hung on when some other clubs were not able to hang on. And for many years, I feel like we were very much a silent shadow on the corner of Nebraska and Palm in Ybor City. And over the last many years, we have dedicated ourselves to, with immigrant determination and grit, bring this club back to what it deserves to be, an honored historical building in our community and a testament to what built it. Today, we are a vibrant cultural hub, an event venue hosting weddings, galas, theater productions while preserving our rich history, heritage, and culture. We still have legacy membership, and an essential part of our transformation has been partnering with other important groups in Tampa and in Ybor City, like the Tampa History Center, J.C. Newman Cigar Company, the Ybor City Chamber, the Ybor Historical Society, Visit Tampa Bay, and others to get us back on the map and to make sure that people remember who we are. So we're talking today about the gymnasium, which for really around 30 years, it's been closed off to the public. So we do to the public, and we do Building Alive tours every year and allow people in, and we show them that area so that we can tell the story of what it meant. The Honorable E.J. Salcinas, I like to reference for saying that the way the gym served the building is that you would get off work at the cigar factory, the male workers at the cigar factory would get off, they'd come to the club, they'd take a shower, they'd work out in the gym, they'd go in the cafe, they'd have a cafecito, they'd play some dominoes until their grandchildren or children or wives would walk in and say, "Get home, it's time to have dinner." So that was really the way that room served the building. It had a handball court, it had locker rooms, showers, saunas, state-of-the-art amenities for that time. And some of those remnants of history and the pieces that were used in the gym are still remarkably there. We had Lloyd Sowers come in and do a piece on Fox 13 on the gym, and he actually sat in the sauna with his head popping out. Today we're bringing this space back to life, honoring its legacy while creating a place for the community to gather once again. In some of the projects that we've completed over the last decade, and they've been really significant, are let's start in 2017. We did bathroom renovations on the first and second floor, making those ADA compliant. We did a ballroom renovation in 2018. In 2021, we had the parking lot paved. And both in 2017 and 2018, those were along with community grants. When we did the parking lot in 2021, that was a big win for us because we actually had cash in the bank to do it. In 2022, roof and repointing, that was in partnership with a grant. 2023, theater restoration was $780,000. That was completely funded by the Centro Asturiano and by community donations. And that was 5 minutes. Wow, I did a bad job.
How much more you need? You're all-
Just a couple, I'll go quickly.
I'll give you 5 more.
Thank you.
Go for it. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you. And then the theater freight elevator, we did that this year, and a backstage theater structural reinforcement. Both of those things we weren't expecting. Both of those things we paid for with Centro Asturiano funds. So our vision is to restore the space, to bring the community in. You heard a presentation earlier about parking in Ybor City and what an issue that is. It is not for us. We have ample parking at our building, ways to bring people in, and there's no real activation of our building every day, all day, that this opening of the gym will bring to us. It's going to serve as a workspace. We'll have a steam room where people can have the long conference tables. You can come in, you can have meetings, you can smoke a cigar, you can be in a Tampa space that is truly a Tampa space. We'll bring in activities such as cigar rolling, demonstrations, stories. And you heard Councilman Miranda talk earlier about what a special piece of history that building of these social clubs are to getting people in and maintaining the history of Tampa and why we exist. We're going to preserve original murals, gym equipment for display.
Can you show us the slides? Or there?
Oh, so sorry. That's me. So here's what it looks like right now, just 2 small corners of it. It's been in disrepair, but you can see some of that equipment, even the pulleys, right, that they would go in and utilize. And we intend to keep all of that in place, but add the domino tables, lounge furnitures. All of the shower stalls will be turned into humidors for cigars, so you can come in and get one. Open up your laptop, have Wi-Fi work in the day, and here's what it'll look like, we hope, with your help. So these are the community spaces. This is open to the public. Yes. So again, we'll create a flexible environment for people to work and gather. We'll have programs, like I mentioned, cigar rolling, history discussions, and more. There's so many opportunities that this allows for us to be able to bring to our building and reactivate this unused space, preserve, as I mentioned, the original pieces that made it so special, and pay tribute to the industry and to the people that made this community what it is. So for that, happy holidays to all of you. Thank you for considering it, and we're very appreciative of you hearing us out.
So, and what is the ask of the CRA today? And yes, ma'am, go for it. And thank you,
So
ma'am.
requested?
Yes, ma'am.
It's $396,995. The total project will cost us around $998,429. We did not ask for the full amount. We didn't need the full amount, but we are taking the help we can get.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank
Great
you.
presentation.
Thank you so much.
ma'am. And I know staff wants to say something. Go ahead, ma'am.
Dee Reed again, Economic Development Coordinator. For the record, I just want to start off and let you all know that this will be the last special projects grant that you will hear under the old policy. You will hear a few funding requests that will come, I believe, in January, that will also be considered under the old policy, but this is the last special projects. So Centro Asturiano is requesting reimbursement for interior improvements to revitalize their unusable gym space so that they can utilize it for a cigar lounge and cultural hub. The request aligned with Florida statute sections 163, 370, C2, rehabilitation of buildings within the CRA area, 163, 370, C5, which is voluntarily repairing and rehabilitating under the CRP, and 163, 370, H1, planning for voluntary repair and rehabilitation of historic buildings by eliminating the functional obsolescence in this historic structure, revitalizing the underutilized commercial corridor, and attracting new visitors and residents to the Ybor City as a heritage tourism and cultural activation project. The project aligns with the Ybor CRP by preserving and promoting the unique cultural heritage of Ybor City, increasing public access to historic structures, enhancing daily use space and retail corridors, and encouraging the restoration and full activation of this contributing building within the National Historic Landmark District. The total project cost is $996,994.29, of which $828,143.95 represents eligible expense. The applicant has requested a reimbursement in the amount of $396,994.29 and deviation from the standard funding practices with phased reimbursement at predetermined project milestones rather than full reimbursement at project completion. To remain consistent with standard procedures, staff recommends an award of up to 50% of eligible expense not to exceed $396,000, with an additional $20,000 contingency allowance for staff-approved, eligible, unforeseen work encountered during construction. And I'll remind you that that contingency is not able to be applied to any of the work that is included in the current scope. Staff is also recommending approval of progress payments as reimbursements throughout the project for work receiving final approved inspections under city permits. For fiscal years 2025 and 2026, the Ybor 1 CAC allocated a total of $767,000 for special project grants. Approval of this request, as recommended, would leave a balance of $350,000 for the remainder of 2026. On October 28th, the applicant presented their request to the the Ybor CAC, and they voted unanimously, with 2 members abstaining due to personal conflicts, to recommend approval of Centro Asturiano's special project grant request as recommended by staff. Staff and the Ybor 1 CAC respectfully request the CRA board approve the special projects grant agreement between the Community Redevelopment Agency and Centro Asturiano for an award of 50% of eligible expense not to exceed $396,000, with a $20,000 contingency for staff-approved, eligible, unforeseen work encountered during construction and progress payments as reimbursements during the project. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. So I have here, and I have to leave in 7 minutes, 5 minutes, Board Member Miranda, Board Member Maniscalco, Board Member Carlson.
Yeah, Carlson.
Oh, you're off? Okay, and then Board Member Hurtak. Wait, who was first?
Whatever.
Okay, and if I may, really fast before, because I got to leave in a few minutes, I probably won't be able to vote on this, but I strongly support this. I think this is a great project, and everything. You know, my great-grandfather, Juan Silverio, and his son, Juan Silverio Jr., who I grew up with, were members, and my great-grandfather, he lived here in Tampa from 1940 to I think 1947. He left the first time Batista became president of Cuba. He opposed him. He was in the military, and he was actually a physician at Centro Asturiano Hospital. And it's funny, he lived in a house on property, on Tom Scarrett, that's where he lived. That's where my great-grandfather lived, which is funny. So I look forward to supporting this. This is, well, like I said, I can't. I'm not going to be here, but I would support it. So just want to say that. And board members, by the way, I have two motions I want to make. I'm going to try to come back before, so I'll talk to my aide about getting me. So just FYI, if we're going to end, just give me a second. So board member Miranda, then I guess Carl.
Thank you. I have no ties to any one of the other clubs that are in Ybor City. I visit them all when I can, and this is one of the buildings that has really come around, and the people that are bringing it back are really working hard to keep it where it's at and maintain it. I remember when I was a kid, why is it that Ybor City was different? None of us, the 7 of us, worked downtown. None of us lived downtown. But in Ybor City, you lived where you worked, and you worked where you lived. And you had cigar makers, you had people in the can company, you had people that did medical care in different clinics that we had, Gonzalez Clinic, Reyes Clinic, Centro Asturiano Hospital, and others that were even smaller. So these are the things that you walked to work with a little bag. You came back at 3:30 or 4, and you sat on your front porch because there was no air conditioning. There was nothing. But we were all happy. We had very little, and we had a lot. We had it all. The problem today is you have a lot, and most are unhappy. So the problem is us, no one else. So I'm here to support this. This is a thing where I remember when I was a young guy, 12, 14 years old, my aunt and uncle who didn't have kids who adopted me from my own mother and father because we all lived together. So I had two set of parents. I was very lucky. And I would go here, I would go to the Cuban Club and listen to the bands that would come in and the historical value of it. And that's how I got into music. Not that I was a great musician, I was not. I wanted to make an A so I could graduate from high school, and that was the easy way out. But I can tell you all these things that are going on. And the plays that were there, we went to see, and it gave you historical value of what life was about. Then you had the Casino Theater, where I thought I was a Mexican for 5 years because I saw Montalavante, Pedro Infante, they were all Mexican actors. And I thought, well, that's my language, I guess. But I was not a Mexican. I was a Cuban father, but mother lived here in the city of Tampa, raised. So it was funny. It was great. And the culture that you got when you were there, no matter what side, you had Italians, you had African Americans, and Hispanics. And it made a difference. Nobody got in trouble with anyone. So it gave us a sense of feeling a little bit better somewhere else in the country, really. But these clubs are the last remnants of the people that are buried all over the cemeteries that built those buildings block by block. And that building, you had to get a special permit from the Centro Asturiano in Cuba, if I remember, to get that building built. Yes. So these are the things that are really historical. Not I or anyone else that I know of, but the buildings are the ones that are really historical and really tell a story without a language. Because people, you go in and you say, what the hell is this? And it's unbelievable. And when they put an elevator there, well, I thought that was the biggest thing in the world, an elevator at the Centro Asturiano. But it is what it is, and people, I mean, there's bingo there on Wednesday, once a month or twice a month that my sisters go to, and they invite me. I don't have time to go, but I go once in a while. So these are the things that bring memories to when I was at childhood, and thousands of others like myself that are still alive. I'm not that old anymore, I'm just only 85. So these are the things you look at, and you realize what the city was and how it became a city. Ybor City in West Tampa was a city on its own, and it was incorporated back in the late 20s or early 30s. But these are the things that made Tampa the way, when they put all the components together, you get one fantastic city, because you had different races, different colors, different languages, and they all came together. It was like a paella. Paella means a lot of stuff, and a chicken with shrimp and everything else. That's what made Tampa. Not I, not you, not any, all of us made it, and that's what it's all about. And Tampa's unique in that flavor, and it's got the flavor of everyone in the city, including the DeMaio family. But thank you very much for all of you to be here, and I really will vote for this wholeheartedly.
Okay, Board Member Carlson.
Yeah, I just want to first thank the board and the leadership of the board for maintaining this important building. It's one of the most important buildings in our city, architecturally, historically. It's one of the gateways to Ybor City. I think it's critically important to save the building from a historic point of view. It's beautiful, a beautiful building. But also you're bringing it to life. And the thing that I mentioned before, we're trying to build consensus in Ybor about what is the present and future of Ybor. And what almost everybody wants to hold on to is pieces of the past. And that's what you all have inside this building. And we need to make sure we not only preserve the history, but the culture. And that's what this is going to do. I have to compliment whoever did the logo. It's a beautiful logo. I don't know if that's a historic logo or not, but it's not often that I really, really love logos, so that's a great one. And finally, I just want to say that my vote today is going to be dedicated to my late friend, Juan Capin. He was a former, I think, chair of the Centro Asturiano, and he, when he passed, one of the mandates was that he would have bagpipes at his funeral to teach everybody about about his culture from Asturias, where he came from. And so in Juan's memory and so that his daughter and grandchild can go experience a building that he loved, I'm going to vote yes. Thank you.
I'm so excited about this project. And I mean, the Centro Asturiano, you have done a phenomenal job restoring it, and the history of the restoration you clearly explained. But one of the things I love particularly about this is the fact that you're talking about having this open on a daily basis. And for me, what that does is activating that corner. We have seen more shops come along that stretch of Nebraska. So I really believe that having this as the cornerstone of that really, it just sort of puts a cherry on top of what they're trying to do in that area already. So I really love it for many reasons, but also the daily activism or activation of that is just what sent it over the edge for me. Of course, I'll support this, and I'm very excited about what you're doing. Cannot wait. And for me, my favorite part is my father and grandfather were avid cigar smokers. And so anytime I smell cigars, it brings me right back. I've lost my father 13 years ago, and so it's really nice. I always remember him whenever I smell cigars, and so always just means so much to walk into these spaces and have them available for the public. So just really appreciate and excited to support the work that you're doing. Board Member Maniscalco.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this. This is a beautiful project. It's a beautiful building. My great-grandparents are buried in Asturias, which is, the namesake of this club. So it's very special to me because, on my mother's side, it's not that I'm Italian. It's Italian and Spanish descent. So they moved to Cuba. They died in Cuba. And their remains were disinterred and were brought back to Asturias, where they're buried today. So that's how important that northern region of Spain is to my family, but also that here in Tampa we have this beautiful facility at the entranceway, at the gateway to Ybor City. This is an addition to the beauty of what is there. There's the crystal ballroom upstairs. There's the salon, basically, where you can play dominoes and smoke cigars. This is Tampa. When you look at the foundation of Tampa and Ybor City, even though it goes back to 1902 and Ybor City's 1886, 1 year before the city of Tampa as we know it today, the city of Tampa, I'm very happy to support this. Thanks.
Board Member Young.
I'll just kind of echo my other board members. I'm really excited to see this project and the importance of maintaining your historical places is extremely important. It tells a story, and stories are extremely important. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the resolution from Board Member Maniscalco and a second from Board Member Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And, we're certainly looking forward to the ribbon cutting, so.
Yes.
Make sure, yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Good morning again, or good afternoon now, Board Member Cedric McCray, Tampa CRA Director. The next item before you is number 8, related to the Ashley Integral Funding Agreement. You all pulled for discussion just to follow up, and you all approved in July of 2024 for the expenditure of $9.7 million. 7.5 of that would go towards the structure itself and infrastructure improvements for the site, and then there is a land assemblage component for $2.1 million. And we just wanted to pause for any questions, comments you may have. We do have representatives from OTBI as well as Ashley East LLC Integral, if there are any specific questions.
Board Member Maniscalco.
Is there a larger presentation, or this is it?
No, this is it.
All right, thank you.
Board Member Young.
I just wanted, for myself, I just want to be sure, if approving this project is just for the money to do this, so it would not lock us into any like site plans or anything. It's just approving to do this project, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is for the residential component of a larger development.
Yes.
We already approved this several months ago.
Yes.
And we're just reconfiguring can you explain that a little bit, why we're back again?
So this is the funding agreement that has to come before you, just to lay out the delineation of money and agreements between the CRA and the developer. And that's essentially what we're doing today.
I have a motion for approval from Board Member Maniscalco, a second from Board Member Miranda. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We are finished with our regular agenda. However, we do have some new business. So I know that our fearless chair, Vieira, had some motions. So if you would like to come back, or if or if his assistant wishes to bring them and have one of us read them, we can do that. I have given my motion to Board Member Maniscalco to make, since there is no pro tem here. So I will start with Board Member Carlson. Any motions?
Yeah, I have two, please. One is I would just like to make a motion for staff to create a written report for let's say, the February meeting as to the specific CRA training given to staff members in the CRA as different from the city training.
Oh, okay. So that's February 12th. I have a motion from Board Member Carlson and a second from Board Member Maniscalco. Any comments? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
The second one, I'd like to show you guys real fast on the Elmo.
Dinnerware. Oh, upside down.
Hi, Bill Carlson, City Council member.
Cool.
This is an antique plate from, I think, 1983, but it shows Tampa Union Station. The significant part is on the back. And what it says on the back, if you look at this line right here, this is from 1983. It says, future plans call for extensive renovation of the building. So it was fully renovated in 1994 by the Friends of Tampa Union Station, and then they gifted the building to the city of Tampa under the Greco administration. We, as CRA board, first funded Tampa Union Station, I think, 6 years ago. It's still, the windows are leaking, the wood is falling apart, there's still termites in the building. We need to at least fix the termites, and we need to fix the flooding. So I would like to make a motion. I can step back, but I'd like to make a motion to have a monthly update specifically on Tampa Union Station.
Thank you so much for that. It's vastly needed. I know they're having some drama llama with Amtrak, so hopefully having a monthly report will help with that. So I have a motion from Board Member Carlson and a second from Board Member Maniscalco. Do you want it under the director's
No,
report?
a separate report.
A separate report, so, okay. Thank you for that clarification. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, that's it.
Okay. Board Member Young. Okay. Board Member Maniscalco.
On behalf of Councilmember Hurtak, I'd like to make a motion that the CRA board move to approve any special project grant requests that be placed under staff reports.
Okay, I have a motion from Board Member Maniscalco, a second from Board Member Miranda. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna request yet again, if Councilman Vieira or his aide, or I'm sorry, Board Member Vieira or his aide are listening, that if they want those motions made, they need to rush it up here. Otherwise, yes, Director McCray.
Yes, I know that we received, or the board received an email from Board Member Clendenin's office as it relates to his absence. I don't recall that being read into the record, but just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yes, Board Member Clendenin is absent and was absent for today's meeting. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Putting that in the record.
Who was the second on the last motion I made?
I believe it was
Maniscalco.
Board Member Maniscalco.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Anything else? I have a motion then to, oh, I'm so sorry.
One other item, during the Parks ADA conversation, CRA Board Chair Vieira requested an update in January. I'm having communicated with our staff and would like to move that to February if possible, to allow more time for us to have conversations with Parks and Recreation.
On his behalf, I suppose. We need a motion for that. So motion from Board Member Miranda and a second from Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Anything else?
And one other item, we were scheduled to come back in January to talk about the path forward related to the housing grant application and programs. Would like to also reschedule that and move that from January to February as well.
Okay. I have a motion from Board Member Miranda, second from Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I am going to request that we each get individual briefings on that before it comes forward in February. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have the motion to receive and file from Board Member Miranda, a second from Board Member Maniscalco. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. We are adjourned. See y'all at 5:01.
Thank you.